All right, there we go. So no Keith tonight. He's in Chicago because
Aw,
he's a jerk face.
he is a jerk face.
But you're here,
I'm here.
and then Barry will show up whenever he wakes up on his chair,
Mm-hmm.
and then supposedly there'll be an Antony later. Maybe Aldi will finally show up after a long hibernation. He hasn't been on for a while.
Well, remember, he had a long drive back from Gamma and stuff, so I'm sure that had a lot
Oh,
to do with
Barry
it.
woke up. He did. I told you. As soon as he wakes up off his couch or his chair or whatever, he'll rise out of his slumbering grave.
No, I was finishing some pretzels.
Some pretzels.
Yeah, I finished making the pretzels.
Time to make the donuts. Yeah, there you go. Well, what were you saying about Aldi? He had to do what or with what in the what now? Pete?
Well, he drove with Lincoln to California. Back to Texas from there. So he may have had a rough week of travel, so he may not be on tonight.
I got you. Well, yeah, I suppose it could happen. So, I'm gonna dive right into my grievance that I got.
Sure, go for it.
Like well, no, what was it? It would have been yesterday. Yesterday morning, I got up at 6. I got up at 6:45. And got my son up. Told him, and it's still it's like below freezing and stuff. Like still at night here. It's getting warmer slowly, but. So I went out and I just like I always do every morning. I go out and I start my car because I have an old Ford. I have a 2006 Ford Explorer that my wife says looks like hell, and she says, "Why don't we just get rid of it?" And I was like, "Well, why? It runs and I like it, and I just like the car." So anyway, so I go outside. No auto starts. I just walk outside like I always do, and people think I'm crazy if they see me because it doesn't matter if it's like 10 below. I'm out there in my the shorts and t-shirt that I slept in. I go out and usually bare feet like I was this time as well, and walking through the snow. Just started up, and as soon as I started it didn't sound right. You know how when you're used to your car, how the noises it makes. It just didn't sound right, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, what? And then that little check engine light thing came on, so I turned it off. And I just and what everybody I think hopes it's like, okay, if I give it like 30 seconds and I start it again, hopefully the light won't be on. You got that hope that it just. So I did it again. And it was still running rough, and the light was on. I was just like, well, I'm gonna let it run for just a little bit, So I go back in the house, and I'm already annoyed. And my wife was leaving for work, and she's like, well, do you want me to take Caleb to school? And I was like, well, you're gonna be late for work then. She's like, nah, I'll get him to school a little early. So I kind of hurried him through his breakfast and got his lunch ready, and then you got him ready to go basically. And so they left. He left for school about 50 minutes earlier than like he would have normally. So then I took I called up the place that I always take my car to because they treat me fair, I guess, in my opinion. Plus the place of business I used to work at, if you went there for work, you got a 15% discount on anything, so which is nothing to sneeze at. So I went over there and I called them up and I said, "Can you take a look at this if I need be?" "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I got back in the car and I drove it around just briefly while I got my daughter up so I could take her to school. And the car was running, and it just starts running. It's running fine. It's running completely fine, but that light's still on. So I turn it off. I turn it on again. It's running fine. Lights on. I'm like, well, damn it. What do I do? I just I had that moment where it's like, well, if I take it in, they're going to tell me what's wrong, and it's going to cost me, it's going to be like X number hundred of dollars to get it fixed. But if it's something really serious, I guess. So I sat there hemming and hawing. I was like, fine, I'll take it in. So I drop off my daughter. I drive it out there, drop it off. They're like, we'll look at it when we can. Long story short, it was some wiring thing where basically the wiring case had come off of something. So when the wires they if you hit a bump or something, they'd hit, and then it wouldn't. Yeah, it would short out, and so it wouldn't want to accelerate. It wouldn't want to do anything with allow any gas to go in or anything like that. So basically the But I was just like, well, and I asked the guy, do I need to get it fixed? And he's like, well, I mean, it's running fine, but next time you could be going 75 miles an hour down the highway, and they could hit, and it would short out, and then you might get into a serious. He gave me the kind of like the song and dance, and I was like, what? Well, how much is it going to cost me? And they're like, well, with your discounts, it'll be like $340. And I was like,
for some electrical tape.
Yeah.
Well, no, they were like, well, we got to take the whole thing out, and then put it back together, So I mean, and I'm sure if I knew exactly what to do, yes, finding some electrical tape or something probably would do the exact same thing. Right? And so okay, fine. So I'm annoyed that I had to spend a few $100 for something that may or may not actually have needed to be fixed, or if I knew how to find this part somewhere in my car, could I like fix it myself? Just one of those things.
Yeah.
Or and then secondly, of course, then they give you that sheet where it's like, oh, here's the list of all these other things that we think you should fix as well. And I'm just like, you know what? I mean, and I know it's their job, and I know that's how they make their money. They get the money out of you for doing it. And that's actually kind of cool. They like texted it to me, and then like there's a link, and you hit it, and they actually take the pictures of the different parts that they say you need. Oh, here's like this, like, whatever. I'm not going to use the technical terms because I already forgot them. But I mean, it's just like, oh, this is, worn, and here's this belt that needs to be replaced and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of like, it's like when you go and when you get your oil changed in some place for like $20, and they're like, oh, your your wiper fluid's low. You want us to take care of that for $17? You're just like, no, I don't actually. I'll just go and buy a jug myself. I don't know. It's like car repairs are the thing that you like. You'll have one. Right, at some point, like every year, something will go wrong. Unless you have a newer car, obviously. But I mean, it's just it's like that annoying real life thing that you have to put up with and do. And it's $300. Who cares? Like I mean, admittedly, $300 isn't like just nothing. I mean, obviously, but I mean, it wasn't like I'm 18 and $300 is my life. Like back then, I'd be like $300. What the heck? Yeah, that was 2 months rent back when I was 19, but I don't know. The whole process of car repairs just bother me on so many different levels. So anyway, that's my grievance.
I have to.
I do
pretty much figure it out.
I do remember once I had a car that I had this old beater, this old Cavalier. And I remember like something was happening with it, like it didn't want to go or something like that. And I remember I took it in someplace to have it fixed. And and the guy said to me, he's like, well, what's happening is it's something with your transmission. Basically, like the car had some sort of like automatic overdrive that would click in. When you got to hit to 55, and this was trying to click in when I was going like 25 miles an hour, and so my car was like, didn't want to run. And I was like, and I was like, okay. And so he's like, it's just like, here's the story. And he's like, it'll to replace it, it's like a bajillion dollars. You might as well have said it's $1 million jillion because it was more money than I had. I mean, that was back when, like I said, I was dirt poor. As my friend used to say, I 0 pots to piss in, 0 pots, 0 windows to throw them out of. Just like, And it was like $500 to replace it, or he said I can just rip the whole thing out for $45. I was like, sold.
I think we've all been there where we've have 0 pots to piss in and been totally broke. I mean, it happens to everybody.
Yeah, but I remember that was like when I was like 19. That was like 2 years ago. No. But yeah, so that was it's just an annoying part of being an adult. Fixing your car. And and then obviously like we're gonna get to that point where like when my daughter starts driving, I joke with my daughter. I said, I hope you like this Explorer because it's the car you're going to be driving to school.
How many miles you got on it, Lance?
It's got 152. I mean, it should last another 50 or 60, easy. You know?
Yeah, if you're taking care of it, if you've been doing your oil changes and stuff, you should be able to get 200,000 out of that.
Oh, Travis Chance.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The young man that was once Travis Chance,
who's got the something about Mary hairstyle.
That's
happy belated birthday, there, brother.
40th birthday.
Yeah.
Oh man, you young whippersnapper! I turned 45 at the end of April.
No one has managed to murder me yet.
That is a life achievement.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, he has a Kickstarter coming out this week. That's why he's on.
I was actually getting ready to comment to you that it's in 2 weeks, and I have nothing to promote.
Oh, I thought Imperius was at the end of the week.
No, 27th.
Oh,
he just came on to try to talk me out of pledging for that second copy of Western Legends, so then he won't have to kiss me in the mouth.
I want to kiss your mouth.
Well, then good, because I'm gonna back 2 copies. So
I saw the Hangout thing, and I was downstairs, and I just finished up some work, and I was like, I haven't been on in a long time, and I thought I would say hi, but I love that you all assume I'm here for ulterior motive.
I did not. That was Lance.
I think it was Barry who said that.
Well, have the floor, Travis. Would you have any grievances? It's been a while. Do you have any grievances?
No, I'm good. Things are good.
How's the new hires going? I've seen you've been very active lately with new people on the team.
Every week, that's our goal.
I know. Who was the last one? Your new marketing director?
We hired a new developer.
Nice.
I don't know if you ever played the game Strife.
Strife,
a little 2-player game.
Yeah, I did a video for it 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, we hired the designer of that game to be a developer.
Cool. Cool.
And we hired Lindsay Jones to be our marketing director, and we're in the process of doing another hire. So,
how long do you think before you have your full staff in? You still only a couple hires away, or are you getting there?
I mean, I think we're pretty good.
Awesome.
I think we've got quite a few people, but we've also got a lot of irons in the fire. So
cool.
It's if you want to do this, you got it. If you want to do this and you want to do it at scale, which is the only way to really make money, that means you have to have people and lots of projects happening. So
right on.
You know how it works. I always make the Santa's Workshop reference where it's like one elf is handing one thing off to the next one.
Yep, never-ending struggle. You finish one Kickstarter, you're already prepping the next one, and all the way up through the holidays.
Yeah. It's no, but things are good. I'm happy, and it's really nice to be. We have an office now, and
oh, nice.
Yeah,
very cool. How about design-wise? Are you working on anything, or is that kind of all taking a backseat now that you're kind of have all this going on?
How was my design? My personal design?
Yeah. Because weren't you working on some projects before Colossal started with other companies and stuff?
Yeah, I actually designed 2 games in the last few months, and I just kind of on the weekends, whenever I would carve out some free time, I wanted. Do you guys remember Scoundrel Society? That game I did?
Yeah, I remember that one.
So
it came out at the same time as Ninja Camp, right? Or pretty close.
Yeah, Scoundrel Society was like my lowest funding Kickstarter that I've ever done. But it also was one that I think if it had different artwork and a better presentation and a better theme, I thought there were some pretty neat ideas in there. So I made a new version of it called All Manor of Evil, but like manor is spelled like, a house, like an estate, MANOR. And the idea.
Oh, play on words.
Oh, yeah, puns.
Well, that sounds fun. That sounds cool.
Yep, and then I have another game called Ketsuki that's pretty cool. I'm a little worried that it might be rubbing up against Rising Sun too much. I finally played the final version of Rising Sun not too long ago, and or actually this last weekend I was down in Florida with one of our designers working on a game, and he talked me into playing it. And I'd played it when it was like in the January before it launched.
Oh yeah.
like the Lotus Clan didn't have an ability yet.
Yeah, early alpha or early beta.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I was pretty unimpressed. Like Lang was like, "What do you think?" And I go, "I think that if anyone other than you made this game, I would say no thanks." And then I played it, and I really had a lot of fun. So like, it's amazing what a few months of development work can do.
Yeah,
I was kind of pissed. The guy that won had like claimed 2 province tiles, and still destroyed everyone. He just had all. I'm sorry, like every seconds I get an email or text message.
Well, stop staring at your computer then.
Oh, you got it, Aunt Jemima. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was super fun. My best way to explain it was I loved everything but the final score.
Well, that's cool. Yeah,
the guy that won basically played an off the board strategy and just he lost every battle and just still won by like 40 points.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've come to realize that those last couple months of development are crucial for whether a game is just okay or a game becomes great. Yeah, you have to put in the time. If you're gonna make it good, you can't just throw it out there and expect it to do well. It's gotta be you gotta bake it in the oven for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I actually talked to Lang. I was like, I really think it's really good, man. You should be proud. And he's like, yeah, I'm really happy with those. He's like, when you saw it was still kind of in its primordial state. It looked like a big evolutionary leap there at the end. It was fun. I mean, it felt like you guys learned like why people liked Blood Rage and just turned the volume up on that, like just cool shit on the board. And I think I had like 6 monsters in play.
Well, he worked on that game for a long time. Like I know when you saw it, but I mean, I saw the earliest versions of it when it was still just on his laptop a couple years ago. I mean, he's really been simmering this puppy for a while, and this was a long work in progress. But I think the end results from what we've seen from the feedback and the BGG ratings and stuff, it's the comments and stuff. It looks like it did what he wanted it to do, which was be a good successor to Blood Rage.
Yeah, I think I prefer Blood Rage, but I do like the game. I think it's a fun game. I just like that Blood Rage is a little more linear. I think and I love drafting. That's really the main reason.
Right.
But it's good. It was fun. I really liked it.
Yeah, I still haven't played yet. Surprisingly, my copy is still waiting to come. We wanted to make sure all the regular backers got those before employee backers got theirs. So still waiting for mine. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, I've been whining to you guys, to people there trying to get a beat on one. Could not.
There should be a couple stores that bought the Kickstarter retail pledges in your area that should have them for sale if they're not already pre-ordered.
Yeah, Time Games I think did. So
yes, they did. They did.
I don't know if they received them yet, but
yeah, that I'm not sure. I haven't checked. I know that everyone's been invoiced and everything is shipping, and if it's not shipped by now, it'll be shipped by the end of the week. So yeah, I would just check back with them and tell him to put one aside for him if he hasn't sold them all already.
Cool. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, it's weird. I used to be the guy that I wanted to own everything for a game, and now I'm quite happy to just own the base game because if I ever get to play anything,
it's the same thing, dude. It's sick. Like literally less than 2 years ago, if I couldn't get everything for a game, I'd just pass on it. And now it's like I'll look at the BG store and be like, oh, I got that game. I got that game. I got that game. I don't have those promos. And I'm like, and I'll just click off the page and not even care about it anymore. It's amazing when you don't have a ton of time to play games anymore, how much less you care about every little promo and every little extra thing you can get.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with just how inundated it is now with every little tiny expansion and every little added thing. I mean, there's a fatigue, and I know I've used that word a lot recently, but I mean there is this huge fatigue, I think, with people that have been in the hobby for a few years, 3-4 years, it's too much, right? And we've had that discussion a lot too. there's just too many games and there's just too much stuff. You can't possibly consume it all. And so, do I really need to spend another $17 on these 4 promos that I can throw in the box when I get them, and then also never play that along with the game that's on the shelf that I'm never gonna play?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's kind of it's a bad thing yet a good thing in the same. I mean, obviously the industry is healthy and there's a reason to print this stuff because people want it, and there are a lot of people that scoop this stuff up. But yeah, I think for me, that desire to have it all, that Pokemon syndrome for me is gone. Now if it's a game I really, really like, yeah. But for the most part now, it's just like I don't even care anymore. I just buy the game if it's fun. I play it as is, and I don't even check anymore to look for promos if there was any. Like I got Dinosaur Island. I knew I missed the Kickstarter. A friend of mine brought his copy over. I played it. I liked it. I just went and bought the retail version. I didn't even care about the stretch goal stuff. And then sure enough, they did a second printing of it with their new expansion and stuff, so I can still get in on it if I want to. But I quit hunting for every single promo anymore.
It's I don't know. It's just too much. Like I said,
Well, there used to be a time where that stuff was fun because there used to be like this feeling of accomplishment. About 3 years ago, I went on this Grail game quest, and almost every single game that I paid a fortune for a year afterward, and TMG was quite good at doing this. But I had just like weird obscure game trade groups and like having to kind of bend over backward and like I would do like 4-way trades so that I could get the thing that I want, and it was like this complex shit. And now it's like, they just Pillars of the Earth like just got reprinted. I paid so much for the expansion to that game, an obscene amount of money. I mean, I still have stuff like I have Queen's Gambit, I have a copy of Dark Tower that works. I have some stuff that I know that should be, good for a while. But
the Dark Tower, that'll never get redone.
No, that one won't. Like on the only game left on my old Grail list was Fireball Island, and now that they're reprinting that, I'm like, I'm done. Because my last 2 that I picked up was Chaos in the Old World, and I got Queen's Gambit a couple years ago. I got a sealed copy in Shrink, and I got a sealed copy of Chaos in the Old World in Shrink, and I haven't even opened that one yet. Those were the last 2.
It was a Royal game.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned Chaos in the Old World. The one that I want to find is the Horned Rat expansion for that. You just can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't have the expansion, but I've never played the original game, but I've heard so many good things about it, and I read up on it, and I'm like, yeah, this looks like my kind of game. So.
Oh, no, it's fantastic. But like I said, like the Horned Rat expansion for it is like that's like of like Grail games that I consider for myself to be Grail games, that's one that I would probably still spend a decent chunk of money on, but I never
probably would too.
But that's just because the theme, because I'm big into Warhammer, and I like the theme, and I like the way they do it. But it's just I don't know. It's but again, it's like, but what is it? Like I'm gonna say like, what I spent $100 on it? Probably not, honestly.
I was lucky. I was able to trade for my Chaos in the Old World. I traded this guy like 6 games for it, and the games I traded him were good and decent, but there were games in my call list that I would have taken $20 a piece for. So I was happy to trade all of them for the sealed copy of Chaos. But
when Chaos in the Old World, sorry to interrupt you, and I'll let you talk in a second, but Chaos in the Old World, when they announced that basically that Games Workshop was taking back all of their stuff from FFG. I like the next day I was just in, and I had a copy and I had traded my copy away. I was in my game store, my local game store, and I was just sitting there and I saw they had a box. They did for sale for list price, MSRP. I was just like, huh. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy this. Yeah, and so it was like, it was like 20% off night too. So I like, I got it on the cheap. But I mean, I want the Horned Rat expansion, but it's just it's like $200 for a little box.
I won't pay that for that.
No way.
That's crazy. I got I got my stuff for retail, but it was a long time ago.
So let's just be a message to all of those out there who are listening to this. If you have a Horned Rat expansion that you don't,
or two,
or two, that you don't want $200 for, and you want to make me happy. There you go.
Lance first. I'll take the second one. I'll take sloppy seconds on that because it means more to you. I was happy to complete my StarCraft board game collection with expansion. That was like the third Grail game I got off my list, and now all that's left is Fireball Island because I had it as a kid. So I'll be happy when Restoration Games version comes out.
I will say this, that if you don't want to feel like you need to shoot yourself, don't go to when you go to the BGG their store, they'll see listing
The marketplace.
Don't go to price history, because if you go to price history, you'll see something oh yeah, somebody sold one for $50 2 months ago. You're like, no, damn it.
I've seen that. I've done that a couple times, and now I don't bother anymore.
Oh, I know, because you'll be like, why?
When I was hunting for Queen's Gambit and I couldn't find a copy locally to trade for, I went to the BGG marketplace and saw a couple copies that went for $25-$30 that were in decent condition, a little banged up, but I certainly would have taken them. But then I was very fortunate that I went to a guy. There's a guy up in North Carolina who's a friend of a friend, and he was doing a games day and invited us. And I went into his basement, and he had a whole bunch of games he was taking to WBC to put in their auction. And I saw 2 sealed copies of Queen's Gambit sitting in a stack. And I'm like, "You've got 2 extra sealed copies of Queen's Gambit?" He's like, "Yeah, when Toys R Us was clearancing them out for $10 a piece, I bought 20 of them, and these are the last 2 I have left." And he sold it to me. He gave me a good deal. I think I paid $100 for it, which at the time the game was going for $250 opened and $400 sealed. And the only bad issue was there was one small dent in one corner that wasn't even that noticeable. And I was like, "Yes, please, I'll take that all day long. I'll take that." Yeah,
that's a fun game too.
It is. I love it. Even to this day, it holds up. I enjoy the game a lot, and I will never say no to playing that game. And I got mine fully painted now, so it looks amazing. I'm super excited about it. That game, I've always thought it was a good game. I don't know why it ever kind of fell off the bottom like it did and got clearance racked, because the game was fantastic.
Well, because it was from the prequels, right?
Yeah, I know. Damn prequels. They took a good game and just based off theme alone killed it, and that's sad. And it'll never get reprinted because Disney will never want to market those prequels. So unless they took the game and
technically they took it and they reimprinted it with
their Star Wars Risk. I know it's supposed to be.
The Star Wars Risk sucks though. It's
compared to Queen's Gambit, it's not nearly as good. But it does have some of the same mechanics in it, but it's not anywhere near as good as Queen's Gambit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's your opinion, Barry? You say all they're quiet.
I never played it.
Oh, really? You'd like it. I think you'd like it. It's a fun game. It's got a good amount of strategy. There's a little bit of luck, but I love the multifaceted way it plays with the 3 different theaters and the 2, especially if you play a 4-player game. I still think it plays better as 2, but a 4-player game with that is a very interesting concept.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, there's all that then. Has anybody played anything that isn't from their own company recently that they enjoyed?
Yeah, Rising Sun.
I got my copy of Star Wars Legion. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I'm going to read through the rules this weekend.
I replayed my first game, Infamy, for the first time in 3 years, and we were all having a great time, and we were making fun of this one guy, and then he just won on the next turn.
So I met. I mean, so the designer of Star Wars Legion. I mean, not that it matters. I didn't know the guy, but my local game store asked me to come and be on their Twitch stream, because the guy who designed it went to my old high school and had my dad as his English teacher. And I didn't know that showing up. They just said, "Could you show up and just ask questions about board games?" And I was like, "I don't really know anything about this game." And they're like, "Well, just show up and ask questions about board games." So it'll sound normal. And then over the course of this hour-long Twitch thing, we ended up talking about, like, because he was, like, obviously went to high school way after me, but he actually still, had my dad as an English teacher. So small world, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, weird thing. But there you go. I Star Wars Legion is cool, and yes, Anthony, I see you here. Just relax. Star Wars Legion looks cool, but man, I don't have time. I don't have time to play another minis game.
I feel like every Fantasy Flight lifestyle game that comes out, the initial release is amazing, and then within 3 releases, there's 7,000 erratas, and like I bought into Star Wars Destiny, and I was super excited about it, and there was an infinite loop in the base game, and then the next set came out, and on the second day it was in retail, they're like, oh, sorry, there's another infinite loop that our development team didn't catch.
Oh man, that sucks.
Well, once the cards stop doing what they say on the printed card, I start to.
What was that? So mumble, vanish.
I said, like, my computer's about ready to die. I was getting the charger. I said, whenever the components don't do what they say on the card, that's when I stop respecting the game. So, like, I used to be a huge Netrunner fan, and then slowly but surely it was like, all right, we're going to create this new restricted list, and these cards now are this, even though they're not printed, and you had to, like, you'd had to know it, or you'd have to have a reference to know it, and it's just listen, I've never made a collectible game, and I can only assume that it's extremely difficult and it takes a lot of future proofing, but it just kind of feels like, it almost feels like these lifestyle games that Fantasy Flight makes, it's like they put a new one out and everyone just abandons whichever one's starting to suck a little bit and then starts on the new one. They're like, oh, yeah, Game of Thrones. Nah, let's play Legend of the Five Rings. Oh, Legend of the Five Rings. Wait, they made another Netrunner? They made a new Netrunner? Like, it's the same. I don't know. It feels like robbing Peter to pay Paul in a way. And I'm not interested in these games. I bought into Star Wars X-Wing. I played it in a tournament. I rolled like all misses or something on my first roll, and the next guy rolled like 8 crits or something and killed like all my shit on the first turn of the game.
Wow.
And then I sold my entire collection the next day. I was like, there's no way I'm playing this.
I'm kind of have remorse with Destiny because there were a ton of people bought it like when it first came out. So I went all in on it, and I've got like a complete play set of the first set. I've got like one of every card for the second set. And then the third set, I got like 1 booster box's worth, but I just started seeing after the second set released and the third set, they had a bunch of allocation issues and we couldn't get it for forever. And now no one plays it. So like I've got all this Destiny stuff. I got playmats. I've got the store championship stuff. I've got an entire case that fits everything in it and no one to play with. So I'm probably going to end up putting my Destiny collection up on a trade block to get some games that I want because I can't find anyone to play it anymore.
I have a full set of the first 3 set. I have like a play set of the first 3 expansions. And the new one actually looks pretty good. Like the last one that I saw, I'm just not interested in. 1, I don't have the time. 2, the game is already rife with issues. Like it took Netrunner like a while to kind of, buckle under its own weight. It's like this. Come on, if you can't do Star Wars right out of the gate, like you have the Star Wars IP. There's just no excuse. For that happening. Like, and the game isn't really like, not to bash on it or whatever, but it's like I don't want to play a competitive game that ends on turn 2 or 3. Doesn't really feel like it had so much potential, and I'm sure there's people that love it, and it's just not for me. I'm glad other people are enjoying it, but for me, it just kind of the fun went out of it pretty quickly. But I don't know. Other than that, I haven't really played anything new in a while. It's just all prototypes. I mean, there's a lot of prototypes that I love that we were playing. Lance, did you play Imperius yet?
I have not. I'm playing it this weekend. I got a gaming convention locally in town. I'm dragging a bunch of games with me, so it should be fun.
Cool. That's great.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Should be very fun. Yeah, I don't know. Have you got any tips or tricks for my first play of it that I should know?
Play with the basic stuff. Don't do the classic, what I call the classic Joel Eddy, I'm an expert gamer, I'm just going to shuffle all the shit together and then hope it turns out right. Joel did that on Heroes Wanted, and like we very strictly said, don't do this, it will ruin your first game. And well, he hated the game anyway, so it didn't matter. But I think if you play with the basic stuff, I think as gamers, especially guys like us that play so many games, like, you know, we always want all the bells and whistles. Like that little game does so much with so little. And like, I'm not like, not trying to shamelessly promote it. Like genuinely, if I had nothing to do with that game, it would be in my top 10 favorite games. Like I really love that game. I think it's super smart. You're drafting each other's cards, your own cards, each other's cards, and everything. The cards are all really simple, but you can set them up and sequence them in such a way that they combo and negate each other. And there's enough little modular content in there that it like little changes feel substantial. So I really applaud Grant. I think he did a great job with the game. So yeah, I think if you play it, and it plays really well with 2 players, by the way. Like the 2-player version is really good. So I think if you just make sure you play with the basic stuff out of the gate and then go from there, would be my. I think you need to play it at least 2 times, because the first time you're gonna just want to draft your own cards, and that's not how to play the game correctly. Like you want to take other people's cards so you can put them in places where they don't do anything. And you want to try to set up combos. You want to get your assassin and kill their noble. You want to play event cards that work with your own cards or against other people's cards. It's all just little simple combos. It's cool. I don't know if any of that makes any sense without context. But.
Yeah, a little bit. But regardless. So you don't think Joel Eddy is a master at board games?
I think Joel is great, and I think Joel is super smart. But I think I can't tell you the times that I've seen people playing games that I've been a part of, and it's happened with a number of reviewers where they'll just kind of say, skip the first game, and then I remember one time I saw this guy who was a reviewer setting up Heroes Wanted, and he was teaching it. And I don't know if I know you've played it, Lance, but it's been forever ago. But how he set the game up was he put all of the action cards out like it was like a card matrix, and then the discs that were supposed to go on, like that you were supposed to put onto the public objectives, the headlines, he was using those as workers. So it was like a worker placement game where you put a disc on an action and took that. And he was teaching 4 other people to play the game that way. And it looked like a pretty neat game, but it was absolutely not the game that I sent him. And he's like, oh, am I doing something wrong? And I just scooped up all the action cards. And this is your hand. Oh, there's hands in this game? Did you read the rules? Like, did you play Lords of Waterdeep and then just decided to go native? Like, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Go native, nice.
I played Heroes Wanted at the second time I went to BGG Con, and this guy was like, Heroes Wanted is my favorite game. I've played it 85 times. I love it. And he's like, I would be honored if you would sit down and play a game with me. And I was like, okay. So I sit down, we're playing, and immediately he just starts doing crazy things. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what's going on here? And he's like, oh, yeah, like, I'm just doing this. I'm just going to play all my cards out of my hand and, like, combo. And I'm like, no, you're only supposed to play 1 card. Oh. And I go, the card that you just played, like, not to be rude, did you read the text? That, like, it doesn't do any of the things that you just did. He's like, he looks at the card, and it was like he read English for the first time in his life. And he's like, oh my God, I never realized that this card did this. It's way better than I thought it was. And I'm like, no, it's not better than what you thought it was. It is completely different than what you thought. And then all I could think was, he's played this 85 times. Assume he played a max player count of 5 players. So 4 times 85 people.
Oh, God.
Completely wrong. So I don't know. That's not a knock on Joel. I'm just giving him a hard time because he didn't like my first game that I self-published.
Womp womp.
I'll never let it go. Never let it go.
So I don't know. Have you guys seen Funforge's Monumental Kickstarter?
No.
You have to kind of go back and look. So they launched a Kickstarter for this game Monumental, and when they launched it didn't have like any videos. It didn't have any. Why am I getting feedback? Who's listening to this on speakers or something?
Not me.
Anyway, no. So when they launched it, it was like 183 grand, which means that it's like a euro amount or whatever. So it's just the conversion. So it's like $184,000. It's got 100. It's at 100K, and it's an epic miniatures board game of civilization, conquest, and expansion for 1 to 4 people. So when they launched it, like there was no reviews for it, there were no videos, there was nothing. They specifically said that he like they what was it? I was just like they I can't even remember all that was done. I mean, if you followed it, it's had a lot of like weird things. It just seems like I think they'll fund. I think because they got 22 days left to get 80 grand, and I think they'll pull it off. But if you actually take the time to read it, it just seems like there was like some sort of monumental like different shift that they took.
Monumental?
Like I see that. Did you catch that? Like. They kind of went, and also the creator definitely like kind of like when they got like responses to them like, hey, why don't you just have some like reviews of things or whatever out there? People were like ripped on them a little bit, and they like pushing back, like saying it's like, oh, just trust us, this is gonna be really awesome, you should really get the game because it's gonna be awesome, you should just get it. That was like their way to try to convince. You'll have to you have to go and look at it. I mean, it's way too long to like kind of start digging through at this point. But
it's weird that this has been out. Kickstarter's been a medium for this long, and people are just not using it on a fundamental level.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. I mean, there's just it's something where it's like, and then like somebody. Like at some point, one of them said, like the guy said that like the person running it, I'd have to go through it again. I had to find it, but they were talking about how if they were saying like in the comments or something, they were saying we don't understand why this isn't so useful. This should be at $300,000 already right now because this game is that amazing. Like comments like that. And so no, it's been if you go read the comments, since you guys haven't, I can't really. Converse on it, just too much, but well worth the read. And if you ever run a Kickstarter, it might be worth it to I don't know, take a moment and like and look at it yourself, just to like look, maybe possibly learning from somebody else's mistakes, if you will. So but there you go. That was something I wanted to point out. I was hoping somebody else had looked at it and read it, but
so it's a card game with minis? That's kind of weird.
I haven't, to be honest, I haven't really looked into it too much. I mean, there is a modular board and there's like things that like it looks cool, but
it says right here it's a civilization deck building game. with minis. Yeah.
Well, there's an army box full of
Yeah.
lots of different miniatures. The miniatures look cool. The Vikings look really awesome. I mean, I thought about getting it just for the little Viking miniatures because I thought they looked really cool.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Especially those that don't like water.
So I always wonder, it's just like when people have like these things that they want to do well or whatever, or they want them to blast out of the gate, and they don't. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just like you just temper your expectations. I mean, I don't know. I always wonder what the where the decision making is done and the mentality behind a lot of them as well.
Well, I mean, like our last Kickstarter campaign, I honestly thought it would make like at least $100,000. We made just short of that, but 15 games launched in a 24-hour time window.
The last month was especially brutal on my wallet.
And it funded. We try to learn from. I think there were some things we could have done better. The marketing and stuff on the front end we could have done better. Right now Imperius is it was. I don't know if it still is, but
number one.
Yeah. So we're trying to make sure that we, give it our all. We got a big team of people, so there's no excuse for us to not do that, and to also not want. It's all process, right? Like it's rinse, repeat, improve, rinse, repeat, improve, or rather rinse and whatever. Improve is somewhere in there. I don't know. I mean, I've had 2 Kickstarters that did really poorly. I've had like Scoundrel Society and then Retreat to Darkmoor. Both of those did poorly.
Those are 2 of my favorite games that you've had a hand in. So what does that tell? What does it say about me?
I don't know. Tom Bassel said Scoundrel Society he thought could have been one of the best take-that games of all time. And it just fell flat because of a couple problems. So that's kind of why I wanted to go back to it, because I did think that there was something compelling there. And exactly, right? So you get a chance to do something over.
Do you think it's just expectation now? Like, for instance, Pete's company does these wonderful Kickstarters, and do you think people just expect Kickstarters to look like that every time?
I don't know. I mean, when I think of Kickstarter, I think of Stegmaier. I know he doesn't do anymore. I think of Cool Mini or Not. Those are like the people that I look to as a reference. There's plenty of people like you. What's that guy's name? The Canadian. He's Australian, but he lives in Canada. Peter Hayward. He does like small print runs. I mean, John Cloudus. We work with John Cloudus. John was very content. Like if he had a game that did over $10,000, he was super happy. So I guess every one of his updates was secret. Only backers could read the updates. Like people do it in a different way. I like the way I do things. I've never had a campaign that's made $1 million. I would love to break that. I'd love to be in the $1 million club. What's that?
Need minis.
Yeah, the first game we did minis, and it was the most money I'd ever made. So we made just short of $600,000, and the Western Legends has already made over $50,000 in pre-orders since then.
I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to Western Legends.
Yeah, it's a great game. Kami-sama, I think Kami-sama is beautiful, but Barry, I mean, you're right. Like, it doesn't have minis. And it also kind of, like, anymore, the way I feel about Kickstarter, I think, like, there's really only 2 types of games that work great on Kickstarter. There's, like, the Cool Mini or Not, massive, excessive, where when you're unlocking things, the stretch goals feel super substantial, new minis, new boards, whatever, like new dice. And then, or even like newer companies like the guys who did Boards of Hellas and Nemesis game, those types of games are perfect for Kickstarter. And I do think that there's a market for small games too, because the reality is, if I make 30 grand on a mostly a card game, like it's not a lot of money to produce a game like that. So you can really put a lot of extra money back into the game to make it more substantial and feel special. So my expectations are tempered, to kind of go back to answering your question, Barry. My expectations are kind of tempered to what the game is, right? Like I spent like $50,000 on pre-production on Western Legends, so I really needed it to make money. On Imperius, I didn't spend $50,000. So because
I didn't mean like the publishers or the company. I meant the backers.
Oh, well then I just totally answered your question. I don't know. I mean, I think people like part of why Cool Mini does so well and like the big games do so well is when you go to Kickstarter, it's kind of like you want like a cool experience, right? Like you want the whole hog. You want this holy crap. This virtual pre-order system is the only place I could get something this ridiculous. Like almost like it's a dare to yourself. Like I'm going to spend $350 on Batman.
Yeah, 320, not far off.
I finally decided. I was like, I'm not doing it. I just can't.
Yep. I bought a $300 remote control Batmobile today for $120. I've been wanting this thing.
The Justice League Batmobile with the smoke in the back. I got that too. I got it at Best Buy on clearance for like $150.
Yeah, I got it for $120 today, and my daughter grabs my cell phone and rams it as hard as she can into the shelf and like screws it up instantly.
Oh, jeez.
And I felt my heart sink.
Ah!
I can. It's just paint scuffs, but still, it made me sad. Yeah, I decided I'm just like I'm not going to spend I don't know if you guys know this about me. I have a profound love for Batman. Like I have glass full of Batman stuff upstairs, and I probably own like 60 different Batmobiles, like back from like the old Kenner ones, and then like the Automania magazine, the Eagle Moss does. I love Batmobiles, and I love Batman, but I'll probably never play the game. And I played Conan, and I really wasn't that impressed. So. It wasn't a bad game. It was just like it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm not going to play like through 20 scenarios of this. Like, I'm going to play like 2 scenarios, and then I'm never going to play it again. So I don't know. It's one of those things where I kind of feel like I should back Batman because I love it. But holy shit, $320 is a lot of money. This thing
is. And I had to toggle back and forth, but my realization came to the fact that if I end up sitting on it for 6 months or a year and I don't end up playing it, I know I'll be able to sell it and make my money back, if not more, because it's direct to retail. Maybe. Well, yeah, I think so. Because
look at Conan, because it's on fire.
But Conan was out in retail. This one's not going to retail. This one's Kickstarter exclusive. Yeah. So there won't be the flood of market of all the extra copies of Conan that there is now.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't really enjoy those types of games, if I'm being honest. Like, I kind of like my games where I sit down, I play them, and then it's an experience and it's done. I'm not a big scenario guy.
I'm just too big a Batman guy to pass on it. All the minis alone, I'll get them painted and set them in a shelf, and even if I don't play, it'll look awesome.
I have freaking Batman, Mr. Freeze, and Scarecrow tattooed on my body, and I'm not thinking. I mean, I was just like, I don't think I'm ever gonna. I don't think I'm ever gonna play it.
And now I suddenly like Batman slightly less.
Oh, you've seen it. They're all on my legs. But I mean, I don't know.
Where's the bat pole?
Your wife knows. Anyway, no. So no. But anyway, hey, I want you guys to. Could you look at the game Dice Settlers and tell me whether or not I should back it?
Well, based off of the name alone, I would say no.
And the fact that you're having to ask usually means you're not 100% on board, so I would just say no automatically.
Yeah, I mean, it looks. I like the dice, and I'm a big sucker for dice. And the Miko did the art, and and then he's apparently doing art for everybody now. But I mean, it's really cool looking art. I don't know. It's got like 20 hours left, and NSKN Games made the best 4X space game ever.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, that is the best 4X game. It condenses all the 4X stuff that's really, really super cool and makes it into like a 2-hour game, and it does it compellingly. But they haven't exactly wowed me recently. They had that In the Name of Odin, and that really fell flat for me. And then there was the one before that was about
Simurg, the dragon one.
Simurg fell flat too, and then also what was the one about Rome? I can't remember what that was called.
Oh, Praetor,
and that was not a good game. It was
this Dice Settlers doesn't look that bad, but it's not like something screaming I have to have it now.
No, and the only reason why I thought about it is like, you know, they're like do have the cool like special upgraded stuff if you want to get the deluxe version, but yeah, you guys have convinced me not to get it. Or at least I've talked my way through it and decided
honestly,
not to.
If I ever have to ask someone if I should back something or not, 9 out of 10 times I should just not even bother asking, because if it's not something that you immediately look at and fall in love with, it's just, to me, that usually means to me that it's not worth it.
Oh, hey, so here's a cool thing. So remember about like 6 months ago when I talked about when I dealt with like some of the worst customer service ever for a Kickstarter that I backed?
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that conversation?
Yep.
All right.
The leather things.
Shut up. Anyway, you make it sound dirty. So Anthony was here and now he's gone. What happened to him?
He's old.
I don't know.
Maybe he wasn't getting enough air.
Working.
He took
I
his toy and went home.
Well, anyway, so then I went through the email back and forth with the people, and then they finally said, you know what, we'll just send you another one. And I said, thank you. Why didn't you just say that to begin with? Because that was the whole problem. Because you sent me one that was defective. Anyway, I totally forgot about it. They said they're going to send me one. I never got another one, but I got an email from them saying they had another Kickstarter going. So I sent him an email and I said, you know, I never got that. Did it get? I was very polite. I said, I see you have a second Kickstarter going on. It looks like it's very successful. Congratulations on your success. I never got this replacement that you were going to send. Did this get sent? Do you have tracking information? I did get an email back like relatively quickly from them. And it basically said, I'm sure one was sent, but I'm unable to pull up any tracking information because it's sent by a different department from us, which this is a 2-person company, from what I understand. But regardless.
So he couldn't go into the room.
And then they said, but this time we'll send you another one out in a couple of days, and we'll send it via DHL, and we'll get you a tracking number to begin with. So, I mean, it just got forgotten, and I forgot about it too, obviously. So, I mean, it wasn't obviously super huge a problem. But perfect example, like I was actually like going through all the old Kickstarters that I backed, and I found one that I had backed that I never got the game. That they have a Kickstarter going right now. It's Tortuga. They had a game called Tortuga that was like a year ago, and now they have one called Deadwood. And it's just like they make these little games. I forget what the name of the company is now offhand, but the first one was Salem, which I really, really liked. And then Tortuga was going to be like a pirate themed game. And they come in these little, like the box is this little book, and it looks really cool. So, and I was like, oh, I'll get that. And I never got it. And so I emailed them and I said, hey, I realize this is like almost like 8 months. Cause I remember I got the email saying it was being sent, but it never showed up at my door. And I was just like, I realized this is like almost 8 months later. I don't know if there's anything you can do. 10 minutes later, I get an email. That sucks. I'll send another one tomorrow. I was like, that's like, it's just so refreshing to like, have somebody that just hears that and they're just like, yeah, we'll take care of that immediately. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about this industry is most of the people that are entrepreneurs are not people who are suited to be entrepreneurs. Like even a lot of the old guard, it's people who they had a game, people liked it, and the company just kind of grew around their game, It's interesting. I don't know how some companies stay alive with that type of mentality or behavior.
I don't know.
If you want to have a sustainable business model, Making sure people get the shit they bought from you is step one in that process.
Speaking, did you guys hear about some employees of Geek Chic made a new company, Band Pass?
Band to pass?
Band Pass. Band Pass.
Band pass.
Yes, they only got one table design, and it's still $3,200.
What?
Yeah. So apparently they didn't learn their lesson.
They never do.
Well,
I mean, I know the price of hardwood's expensive, but I can't see $3,200. You know?
That is not a $3,200 table.
Yeah, it's not.
No, there's
no. Hey, are you a carpenter?
I made my own table, Lance. So yeah.
A good table? No.
Is that Cameron Diaz? You talking shit on my Facebook after I shaved Cameron?
You look exact. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
Simple Jack.
You can't say there's not a slight resemblance.
You know, I can't.
What are you looking at? It looks like Cameron Diaz.
Forrest.
Forrest looks like a low rent Cameron Diaz.
The Dresden gaming table.
Forrest,
it looks nice.
Because I shaved and got a haircut, and I've lost like 15 pounds. I'm trying to straighten up my act. And what does he do? He tells me I look
It's
like
all over it.
That picture looked like Happy Jack.
I sent that picture to my wife, and she said, "Good Lord, tell him to grow it back."
Your wife lets you wear a do-rag on your head, so I don't really know. I don't really know if I'm going to be taking fashion advice from her.
Wow. Jeez.
I'm sure you're the toughest guy hanging out outside of Hot Topic in the mall where you live. But
we don't have a Hot Topic.
Yeah, I know. You just got electricity last year.
Wow. What are you channeling Don Rickles now? I mean, what? I'm not the one who needed more attention, so I went and shaved off all my facial hair and got a haircut.
I was a cardboard box away from from hopping the next freight train out of town. Like a fucking homeless person.
Well, good for you for changing things up, for getting a fresh new look for a fresh new world.
Forrest looks like PewDiePie's cousin.
Who's PewDiePie?
He's a big YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
He's the biggest. I think
he's like the biggest, 59 million subscribers or something like that.
What kind of videos does he do?
Video games.
Weird as hell.
Weird shit.
Watch blades where he screams and makes weird noises. I watched like 6 minutes one once and was like, nope.
He just does a variety of stuff, but
minutes. That's a long time to watch something you don't like. Look, I ate 16 pounds of oysters. They were disgusting.
Congrats on Kami Sama, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks, man. If you stop telling people what suck about my games, I'll let you start reviewing them again.
Look, honest opinions. What the hell?
No. Is it honesty or is it you just wanting to have something to say?
No. Why would it?
If I can't own you, I don't want to work with you. That's just how it works.
I've gotten that from quite a few.
And that, my friend, is honesty.
Somebody pointed that out to me, that the Chronicles of Crime, the Kickstarter, there's only one review video that is not on there, and it was mine because I bashed how tedious the game could be. I mean, I'm speculating that, but I'm the only video that I guess is not on the Kickstarter, they told me, which I thought was makes me proud.
It was the haircut.
Sarah's gorgeous. I don't know what she's talking about.
You look like a drum tech for Weezer.
That's a compliment.
Are you drinking a big gulp right now?
Nah.
Forrest, why don't you ever come down and hang out and play games with us?
Because I don't live near Indianapolis.
I live off 69, bro. We got an office now.
What exit?
At Noblesville ends it.
Most likely just because I got 2 kids, man. I mean, I can't just be like, hey, babe, I'm going away for the day to play games in
You can
Noblesville.
shit on people's hard work on YouTube, but you can't come down and hang out.
Shit on people's hard work. I don't think I've ever given you a bad review.
No, I'm kidding. I'm fine. No, you were on my list of people we wanted to work with, and then the investors watched your stuff and said, never. Never.
The less Kickstarter videos I have to do, the better.
The good news was they fell asleep through Lance's video, so they by the end couldn't remember what happened. It was like
No, whatever.
No, Lance, we have you on the list for the next few games.
Yeah, I know.
I can't wait.
I'll talk to your boss about it, though. Don't worry.
I can't wait for you to be like, yeah, and I remember my freshman year, second class.
What a tired shtick you have.
And the Prairie Schooner wasn't running that summer, and we had to take the ferry. I always love when you start to talk about a relative that is like many degrees of importance away from talking about, and then there's always some reference about Fargo. It happens so, like my uncle's uncle, and we wanted to get fudge, but there was a fudge blight that year.
I don't even like fudge.
We had to go to Fargo, and we fought our way through a pack of chinchillas with machetes. I'm on a tear.
Yes, I know. So I want to pick up Gaslands, like because to give me like a little bit of to give me a little bit of
the ability to finish a sentence.
No, just to give me a Car Wars fix kind of thing. But I just I want to know where people get like all the little bits they put on them, like all the little like the guns and stuff. I mean, I'm assuming maybe they just go and buy.
What is the story with this? So like it's a game system, and then you just go buy Matchbox cars and mod them.
Yeah, you just buy Matchbox cars, and you can like, and I'm assuming you could go and like break into like you could buy like Flames of War like boxes, with have artillery guns and things like that, and you could just mod them into there and stuff like that. I mean, they look really cool. I just
out.
What
is it out already?
Well, it's just all it is is a book. I mean, that's all it is. It's the rules, and then you can get like the little templates and stuff like that. But you could print off the templates and do everything else the way you want. It's just the thing is that I'm always wondering, where to like, because the whole point is that you just take Matchbox Hot Wheels cars, and then you just break them apart and find guns and stuff like that. I'm just wondering where people find all that crap to put them on there. Because I'd like to do this, but then again, I have a dozen armies to put together for Warhammer, so I really should be digging into something else right now. Though I do like the idea of playing another Car Wars game. I played tons of Car Wars when I was a kid. I was like by kid I mean like junior high.
Yeah, I did too.
I love that game.
I have a Mad Max game that I co-designed. You know Jesse Wright? You know the designer?
Yeah.
He did that Legends of Korra game that just came out through IDW. He's designed a bunch of stuff, but I think all of it's just kind of coming out now. He's one of the hosts on Meeple Syrup. We've been working on this thing for 2 friggin' years. 9 publishers have taken it. 5 publishers wanted to sign it, but then were like scared to make miniatures, so then like backed out of it. And then lo and behold, the designer bumped into one of my partners at a show and pitched him the game, and not knowing he was my partner, and didn't bring up that I was a co-designer, and my partner signed the game. My game is getting signed by the company I work for without me having known and without the investor having known I was part of the game, which is pretty funny.
What's the name of this game?
It's called Diesel Punk Apocalypse. It's so it's the thing that the co-designer pointed out was that in these games these vehicle combat games, when your vehicle dies, you're like heartbroken and it feels like you've lost the game. And the idea of this game is, in Mad Max where it's like they blow up the bad guys and then over the dune, more guys just converge on them. That's essentially the game system. As soon as your car blows up, you just reload in a new car and keep fighting. And it's got the Thunder Road scrolling map thing going on. And it's just got a point system. It's cool. It's actually the engine that drives the game is a continuous draft. So you get past 2 cards, you draw a new card, and you pick one of those cards, and then it's got a bunch of icons, and you choose how the icons resolve, and you're basically just blowing the fuck out of everybody, blowing them up, smashing into them, shooting them, running them into obstacles, running them into traps. It's weird because it's like very chaotic, but like in a controlled way, if that makes any sense. Like you have these big cinematic turns where you're like, I ramped over the dune and slammed into your car and pushed your car into, a fire trap, and then that caused you to overheat, and then you swerved left and you hit another thing, and then like 3 guys on your car died. So it's got like these kind of cool big moments in the game that I think is pretty fun. So I'm excited that it's finally going to have a home after all these years.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to show you sometime. It's the only prototype I've ever been a part of that people have asked to borrow it. Like I taught people the game and they're like, hey, I've got a game night. Can we borrow this for the game night?
And you said no.
No, I let people borrow it. That's a huge compliment. I just didn't think it would ever come out because it's one of those things where the game experience is like pretty quick. It's like a 45-minute game. But if you put minis in it, it's going to be an expensive game. And I think the production cost was the other publishers had a feeling that the production cost was risky for what the game was. Like it was going to be overcommitting to the game. So I don't know. I'm excited. It's I thought my game design days were over, and suddenly a bunch of stuff just kind of happened recently.
Something happened.
Well, I sat down and tried to make a game for the first time in a long time.
Tap, 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 tap.
But enough of that. Hey, Barry, do you think you could get a larger laptop?
Yeah.
Looks like you have a fucking Volkswagen van on your lap. It's huge.
It keeps his legs warm. Back off.
Yes. I used to do a lot of editing.
On what? Why don't you edit the size of your laptop? Shut up, Lance.
You shut up.
You're already on my bad side.
Why? I've done nothing. I've done nothing to deserve any rancor from you.
Called me in weeks.
Whatever.
We normally talk once a week. I will say I have traveled 3 out of 4 weeks. So I went to Atlanta and then Florida and then unexpectedly had to go to Florida again the next week, which was weird.
I have I don't think I'm gonna go to Dice Tower Con this year.
Oh, why?
Because it's on 4th of July, for one.
Well, I didn't realize you were so patriotic.
It isn't that. 4th of July is just an awesome. My entire family is at the lake on the 4th of July, and it's a lot of fun. We you get on the lake, you go.
So you want to spend it with the kids.
Yeah, and then we shoot off fireworks tonight. The kids love shooting off fireworks. And it's just like last year it was the day after. So I mean, which sucked anyway because it was like, oh, I'm here, and it's like, and we're still shooting off fireworks, and everybody's having a great time, and it's like midnight, and I need to leave because I have a plane leaving in 5 hours. So see you later. And it was just that sucked. This sucks. So
I guess I'm jaded. I don't know. My daughter's probably. I mean, she's almost. She thinks they're cool. I feel like once you've seen one cool fireworks show, you've seen them all. But I suppose you're right. It's kind of like Christmas. You don't do it for you do it for the children type thing.
Oh, I have a blast. It's just fun watching the kids. I mean, even like the whole like going to buy the fireworks and spending way too much money on them. And like that's that whole thing. Plus, it's like we're gonna go to. I think we're gonna do it at my my in-laws' lake actually. So and then my father-in-law like drops quite a bit of cash on the fireworks, I guess. So
does he buy black snakes?
Yeah, he buys 1,000 black snakes. That's all we do.
You soak them in peroxide and then ignite them all at once, and it just makes a giant black flecked dung type substance in the lake itself.
No, I don't do that, but it sounds amazing.
Sounds like you're missing out.
Sounds like I am missing out. Yes, I would agree. But yeah, so that's not. But I'm definitely going to Origins, and I'll be at Gen Con.
Yeah, I'm doing Origins. You're not doing Geekway to the West?
No. Well, I mean, I haven't been asked to yet. So
that was the best show.
I've heard that, but I don't think TMG is going to go there. Honestly.
We doing anything for Origins?
Yeah.
No, you're going to Origins, aren't you? There, dummy.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll have to go get drunk again, like we did the last time.
Yeah, you can maybe come in the Porta-John this time with me.
The what?
You can sneak off the Porta-John with me this time.
Oh yeah, that was great. No, that was We'll have to find that. We'll have to try to remember that place we went for the pizza because that was good food.
I want to clarify that sounded really homoerotic, and that was not the intention of that.
As a Cameron Diaz impersonator, that was not your intention.
No, I like Origins. Origins is fun.
It's way too long.
It is.
Yes.
It's like 5 days or whatever. It's crazy.
It's not like experience. Like you basically see everything in a day.
Yeah, I think you're coming at it. I would disagree coming at it from the perspective of a fan because I have a lot of friends that go to it just to play games, and for that, I'd say it's perfect.
Yeah, but you don't remember half of it, so I really don't think that's fair.
Yeah, Mr. Two Kids, I'm not allowed to leave the house. I think we know why you're enjoying it. Well, my wife.
Anthony, okay, everybody shut up for a second. I want Anthony to actually talk because his microphone he's not muted. Anthony, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. No camera tonight, though, huh?
No, my desk is full of Gasland cars. So I'm sitting on the couch.
So where did you get? Okay, so if you got Gasland cars, where do you get all your little bits and pieces that you're gluing on them and stuff like that?
So if you look at things in real life, you could actually turn them into things for the cars.
Wow, that was sage advice.
So I'll give you an example. So I have turrets on my cars that are made out of wire connectors.
No, toilet paper tubes.
No, they're matchbox sized cars.
They're a little bit disproportionate, but they are the perfect shape.
Let the man talk, Travis. I want to learn.
So if you go to like the Home Depot where they do like the section or like where they do telephone wire stuff, they make these wire connectors for people who don't know how to splice things themselves. And it's just a little piece of plastic and it has 2 holes in it. You jam the wires in and then you crimp it shut so that you make a connection. But if you take those and you jam toothpicks in them and cut the ends off, you can make turrets for your cars.
Gotcha.
But then you can use like Warhammer 40K guns and all sorts of stuff. The jewelry section at Michael's, a great place to get pieces. You can make the rams for the front of the cars with stuff from there.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've got, if people with eagle eyes, they might be able to look behind me and see like my painting area behind me, and they can see all the different boxes of minis that I have up there.
Well, when I came in before, you were sitting back there. I thought you were like Jim Morrising it tonight.
No, I was gonna try to put some minis. I was gonna start putting my ghoul army together, but then I just didn't. I felt I lost all
Wait, where are these? I only have Betty Davis eyes.
No, so like behind me, like okay, there's the two bright lights. So like the stacked containers that you the plastic. Here, I'll look. So right, these things right here, look behind me. That's like got all my little tools and my flocking and everything and like bases and stuff like that I use. So these like boxes here, those are all like filled with different minis that I'm like those are armies that I'm in the process of building, including these over here. And here's some like the primer paints. Here's some of my boxes that actually have finished armies. This stack over here is works in progress that I'm doing. And there's a bunch of stuff. So over here is all my paint. Here's my inks that I use to make my own washes. So, you know, that's like kind of like that's where like if in the rare times of my life where I have a couple of hours to do nothing, I will come down here and then my old timey radio that I have here, I'll turn that on and I'll like turn it to talk radio
channel.
Yeah, I'll turn it to the talk radio, or I'll listen to like just classical music on the classical music radio station here in town, and I'll try to relax and do that. That's kind of like my me time when I don't have something to do. But I almost always have something I should be doing,
like buying black snakes.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I've got to get my army done because I've got my daughter and I both have they have the tournament for Age of Sigmar here. Local tournament starts in April, so we got to get our 1,000-point armies done. And I'm way far off. She's closer to being done than I am, but I don't know. She has more time. She's a kid. Good for her though, because she's actually applied herself to it. She's really excited to get it done. I don't know. I don't know. I like it. It's maybe because we've talked about this before. I'm not going to go down that road. It's something different. It's something fun. It's interesting. Yeah. So there's that then.
Spoken like a true warlord.
Hey, are you using the paints that I sent you to do this?
I am.
Awesome. That makes me happy. I'm glad they're being used.
I got all those paints, and then I bought a whole bunch more, and I have a whole little painting station set up.
Went down the rabbit hole. It's a fun rabbit hole, though. I have found that nail polish display case that people have for like their whatever make fantastic paint holders, and you can buy them cheap off of eBay.
They do, and when it starts warming up, I'm gonna actually convert my shed into a workshop, and I bought one to put in there. So
yeah, no, I mean I bought a couple off eBay, and you can't really see them. They're against the wall over here, but you can kind of see the paints are in them, and they are they hold like 100 paints each, easy, and they're fantastic if you're into the hobby.
Fantastic! I saw you actually took all of your Citadel paint and put it in dropper bottles.
Yes, I did, because I can't stand the paint pots. They are designed to make you lose paint because you won't get them closed all the way. You won't get them. You know, and Citadel paints, they're fantastic. I think their colors are great. They're bright. They're vivid. The white, if you can get the white paint that isn't clumped up, the white paint clumps up bad. But if you have an agitator, you can usually get them good. But you'll never find a better white paint from any line than that. No, they're good, but like I said, the paint pots are designed for you to lose paint because Citadel paints dry very, very fast, which is something great, except for when like you
aren't using them.
Yeah, exactly. So
I got an airbrush today.
Oh, you did? Did you go to like Hobby Lobby and use the 50% off coupon?
No, I actually bought one on eBay. So I got the compressor and 3 guns, or 3 brushes, whatever you call them, for $85 delivered.
No way.
Yes way.
No way. I mean, are they good quality?
They're for painting miniatures, they're perfectly fine.
Holy cow! You do the person they I mean, is it like
They're all over eBay. Just if you go to eBay,
okay, but was it some guy selling his used set, or is it like some brand new?
It's brand new.
Send me the link. Send me the link. I want to research that.
There's a few of them. I actually bought the one that was more expensive, only because they had sold more of them, and everyone was happy with them. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna pay it was like $15 more they were selling them than somebody else was. And they're in California. They literally shipped it the day I bought it. I was supposed to come tomorrow, and it actually showed up today.
All right. Well, have you used it yet, or anything with it yet?
No, I just read through the thing, but I mean, I played around with one of the guns. It's a basic airbrush. The thing about it though is you can just go then after and buy a better airbrush to put on it if you want to do more fine detail stuff with it.
Yeah, I mean, like having that to like do my 200 skeletons for my death rattle army, and I realize we're boring 90% of people. Like Travis left. Sorry, Travis. No, I mean, like I have to finish off, and I look at all these skeletons I put together, and the idea of having to paint them all, even if I just slapped a base and a dry brush on them, I know it's just going to take me forever. So yeah, I don't know. So I was thinking about getting, and like the thing is that like Hobby Lobby sells compressors and paint and paint guns and you just go in with, they always have a 50% off coupon, and they'll sell you a $150 compressor for $75, and they'll sell you the guns. You leave and you walk back in, and you go back and you send your daughter up with $80, and then you buy a gun, and then you're good to go. But yeah, send me that link.
I don't know. Chad just called it out. It's TCP Global is the people that sell it.
TCP Global, huh?
Yeah, and it was $83.96, I think, including the shipping.
Oh, I was gonna say this: if you guys don't have if you do shop eBay, which a lot of people do and a lot of people don't, or whatever. But if you do shop eBay, take the time to download the app for your phone, and usually once or twice a week you will get an app coupon for it. You will it'll be like it'll just be 15% off, and so off anything, and they'll give you a little code. And I just have it. I don't really shop eBay, but every Friday or something, I'll get something and they'll say save $15 on $75, and that's on anything. It isn't like, oh, you got to spend it on electronics or something like that. No, it's literally anything. So
yeah, I get them emailed to me.
Yeah, well worth it, just to in my opinion, just having the the stuff. So TCP Global Airbrush. Let's see what we get here. Do you use a wet palette?
Do I use a wet palette? No, I don't.
You really should.
I don't care.
No. I mean, just because.
I do use Witchical though, and I use my water with a little bit of soap in it, and I also use Flow-Aid.
Yeah, acrylic Flow-Aid is and you just need a drop basically, yeah. But it works perfect. No, take a Tupperware. I know
how to make a wet palette.
Well, maybe somebody who's listening doesn't know. So if you take a just a piece of one of those Tupperware sandwich containers that you take your sandwich in, that's airtight. So take paper towels and fold them up and put them in and get them wet. Don't overload them. You just get them wet. You want
to put enough water that the paper towel soaks up all the water.
Yeah.
And this is the damp paper towel.
It's just, yeah, exactly. And then you just take a piece of parchment paper and you put that over the thing, over the paper towel, and then you close it. And so then when you paint, you put the paint on the on the parchment paper, and the moisture from the paper towel will keep your paint. It won't dry on the palette. It'll keep your paint moist, and you'll be able it'll last longer for you. Anybody who, I mean, it's dumb if you're not using that. It's just dumb that you don't, because it's something you have in your house already, and your paint the longevity of your paint will increase 1,000-fold. It's just dumb not to. But that's in my humble opinion. What?
Because I said I didn't use one. You're like, it's just dumb not to.
You're dumb not to. I mean, it's seriously. It's like it's
yeah, but I'm not painting huge armies like you are either.
Well, yeah, but you still you'd say, I don't know. The paint will be way better off. I mean, I don't know. That's just one of those things that yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can't find this $85 one. Send me the link.
I'll send you a link. Jesus, big baby.
You're a big baby. I have done this too. So I'm using Xandri dust, is like this kind of dusky brown that I'm using as my base paint for all my skeletons. And I just took some of my Xandri dust. I took a piece of white cardstock, basically index card, and I painted a 2-inch square on it, and then I took it into my local Home Depot, and I said, color match this, and then I you know how they sell those sample things, and I just said color match this, and I picked acrylic matte paint, and then for $3.50 I got basically all the paint I'll ever need. I mean, it's more Xandri dust than I will ever go through. So for less than the price of a little tiny pot of Citadel, I got, like I said, like just a ton of that paint. Another thing that, if you have a ton of stuff to do, yes, the paint quality, the quality of the paint might be slightly worse than the Citadel paint, but or any of the paints like Army Painter or whatever. It's dumb not to do that. But people just don't. I don't know. People have the reasons, I suppose.
I put it in the chat.
All right. Thanks, brother.
No problem, brother.
So can I also talk about something that nobody else is going to care about here? So, man, this is a nice setup. I'm going to add to my watch list here, and you'll have to use it and let me know if it's any good.
All right, this weekend.
Oh, you even get a how-to airbrush a book with it. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
So up here in the northern Midwest, there is a little tiny independent wrestling circuit called Fully Loaded Wrestling, and I had never gone to one, but they had a show here recently in town, and I went there with my stepfather and my 2 kids. That was hilarious and fun. It's one of those things where it's like they packed 150 people maybe into the old Teamsters Union Hall, and they had this, and basically we had ringside seats, so you're right there, and we watched 20 people beat the hell out of each other for our entertainment for 3 hours, and then they tried to sell merch. It is hilarious to watch. Independent. It's been a long time since I've seen an independent wrestling thing. I probably went to one when I was 18. But you can actually you hear them. You can actually hear the wrestlers talking and telling each other what the next move is, which I think is cool. You'll see them and they're they're like giving each other like a headlock, and you can hear him. He's like, "Okay, just throw me against the ropes, then I'll take." Okay, sounds good. You know, just like, so yeah, and it's just and it's hilarious, yeah, about how like the bad guys are so like specifically bad, and the good guys are so specifically good. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. So if you ever have like a local wrestling thing to go to, I would strongly say. Plus, it was like $15. It was like nothing to go. So I was pretty pleased with that.
I did something very nice today.
Ooh.
Someone was very excited that some wrestler got medically cleared.
Yeah, that's actually big news for wrestling. Actually, go ahead.
Well, they said, and the thing was medically cleared with no restrictions, and I was like, and to myself, I was typing, except what the script says, and then I said, no, I'm not going to say it. I'll let them have their moment and enjoy themselves.
Well, no, because Daniel Bryan actually he had a neurological problem. Like he was having seizures, and it came from a bad bump that he took. And so he actually was. I mean, he was like one of like the most. Like, he was a very, very popular wrestler. And then he wasn't able to wrestle, and it was actually kind of sad. And then so they eventually he finally he went into a lot of different doctors and what have you, and he got his medical clearance to wrestle again. And then he announced it, and then the heels, by the name of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who are two wrestlers who I adore, came out and beat the hell out of him for his trouble.
Welcome back.
Basically, that's what it was. Well, because he fired them because they had beat up Shane McMahon, who was who's the general, like one's the commissioner and one's the general manager, but Shane McMahon was like one of the two. And then he fired them, and of course, since he fired them, then they decided to take it to him, so to speak. You know what? My mother always tells me, like, whenever there's a pay-per-view, my stepfather comes over and watches it with me and my kids and my wife, and we all kind of get into it. We go through the matches. We pick who we think's going to win. We keep a score. We order in pizza or Chinese food, and we make a kind of an event for it, and we all have a good time. And my mother always says, it's fake. Just like, yes, Mom. What also is fake? All of the TV shows you watch. That movie you saw last night, that's fake too. That that didn't really happen. I don't know. That it's I've always had a problem with that comment. Like, it's fake. Well, it's just like, yes, we all know it's not real, and they're not really getting, the Undertaker really isn't a dead man.
No, there's a difference between enjoying it for the entertainment value. But I have friends who literally like talk about it like it wasn't already predestined what was going to happen in that match.
I mean, you might have those people, but I mean, seriously, that's pretty rare. There's not many people left that still think.
I have people who say things like, "Yeah, that's what you get," and I'm like, "What do you mean that's what you get?" It's whatever the storyline is, the best storyline is. That's what it is. No one got it.
That's not true because the WWE has proven time and time again that they just pick the dumbest. They make the dumbest decisions as far as what the storyline should be. But regardless, yes.
Yeah, you didn't lose because you body slammed that guy into the soda machine.
Yeah. No. I mean, I could talk wrestling all day long. It's just, but it is, I don't know. It's it's fun for me for when people that don't think they're into it actually get into it. Like my wife, like, you know, she can take or leave it mostly, but every once in a while there'll be like a wrestler she cares about, and she'll be like, she's like, "Oh, Bailey, don't be stupid. Don't trust her anymore." You know, "Oh, Bailey, you're so stupid. You deserve it." You know, and stuff like that. And I think
to a soap opera if she watched it too.
Well, yeah, and I think that's cool. I think it's cool when like people like, you know, are, you know, it surprises like anything else. You know, it's just like I just recently I am not a fan of the comedian Jim Gaffigan. I don't find him very funny. I think like he's just kind of there. But my wife really likes him, and she's listened to him in the car, like on the comedy radio station. He comes on, and she's like and listening, and I'll find that I'll laugh occasionally at a joke that he says here and there, and then I'm almost mad at myself, you know. But obviously the guy, you know, can entertain, and he's got good comedic timing. Obviously, or else he wouldn't be popular. And we just recently got tickets. He's going to be in Fargo here, like in the end of April. So we're going to go to that. So there you go. So I don't know. It's we shouldn't be so eager to not like things just because we think that's dumb or stupid or whatever. That's just there. I'll get off my little high horse then.
Oh,
I've been talking.
Wait.
Let's talk about something else.
Before you go any further, Lance, everyone who's in the watching this right now, hit the subscribe button.
You know, Jim Felly, who sadly hasn't been on for a while. Jim Felly was the one who sent me the email. He's like, he like suggested a couple things to me, and then he said, and by the way, don't ask people to like you. You're not a whore. Classic Jim. Which Jim, if you watch this later, why aren't you on the Boom? I'm getting annoyed. You should be on the Boom. And
hit the like button. Subscribe. Don't forget our Patreon.
Do you do anybody's Patreon there, buddy?
I don't. I used to do a bunch, and I don't do any.
Why is that?
Because I can't do them all. In a way, to me, it's kind of like my friend Steve and I growing up. We used to do this thing, and it was really funny because we even did it at for our weddings. We used to give each other the same gift back on our birthdays. So there was a $20 bill that we used to pass back and forth to each other. And the joke was that whoever dies first, the other person makes $20. And when I got married, he got married 3 weeks before I did. He came back from his honeymoon, came to my wedding, and put my check back in the envelope. So, because that's what it's like. You're like, okay, well, so all right, I'm gonna support you, and then you're gonna support me. I'll just support myself. You support yourself, and we'll call it even. It's the same difference.
Huh. Well, there you go.
There you go.
I'm just curious, like, what happens when when the well runs dry. What do you do?
What well?
That well.
Patreon?
The Patreon
crowdfunding. So, like, if what you're talking about, if one of these review channels that's been living off of their fundraiser.
What do you do?
That's going to be interesting.
I guess you go find a regular job.
Yeah.
But you left a regular job to become this.
Well, but you're saying, what if the well doesn't run dry?
No, I'm not saying that. My point is, like, you put all your eggs in this basket, and what if it just stops?
Yeah, but I mean, what were they doing before? I mean, is it a job they can get back into? Is the field that it's not hard to break into? I mean, if they left a job they were at for 20 years, I could get it. But if they were just working dead-end jobs and decided to take a chance and do something that would make them more money, then they really haven't lost much and gained a lot of experience.
But they're not necessarily making more money.
Well, some of these guys are. I mean, there's some people that are probably making more doing this than they are with what their field was prior. Maybe not all of them, but
possible. But I don't think it's a large number.
I'd say the overwhelming majority is not.
No, I would agree with that. But I mean, like most of the guys that are on the Dice Tower, weren't they all teachers? So I'm imagining they're probably making more money than they made before. I don't know what Rodney did before, but I mean, his channel is very successful. So unless he was like an engineer or something like that, I imagine he's probably doing better than he was doing before.
He was a video game designer.
Was he? Okay. Yeah. Rado.
No, he wasn't. That was Rod.
That was Rado.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Rado was a video game designer, so I know he's probably not making as much as he did, but he also is kind of retired.
Oh, when Richard comes back, we actually have, and I mean, when he moves back, because he's moving back, we are scheduling a all out war and argument about The Last Jedi between the two of us.
Oh, fantastic. That'll be an episode I'll have to be sick for.
It's like two old men arguing over a bowl of soup.
Yep. Pretty much.
I wonder if he's going to, I wonder when he gets into North America.
Yeah. But, it'll be awesome. That's all I'm going to say. And he'll be wrong.
It should be out on demand soon, Lance. You could watch it again.
Why? Why would I want to watch?
Let's
You know what? I'm not. Nope. I'm not gonna.
We should pay-per-view that thing with you and Rado. This Wednesday night.
Does anybody else? I'm sorry. We kind of all got off on random tangents here, but does anybody else have any axes to grind or anything else they want to complain about?
We only have 3 likes. 4 likes. Hit the like button, people.
Oh, what's wrong with
that?
Life is good. Life is good.
Yeah. Other than the snow, it's all right.
I could complain, but who cares?
I am getting dangerously low on my Doritos roulette chips, which is actually making me a lot sadder than I thought I was going to be. And all of a sudden, I'm regretting giving away like 50 to 60 gallons of them. Just like, oh man, should have held on to those. I'm down to like 5 gallons left.
Well, don't worry. By the time you run out, the Xbox will probably do that promotion again, and you'll be right back in the thick of it.
Yeah. You can dream, right?
I'll get you the hookup on how to do that too, Pete, if you're interested.
Oh, I don't know.
It's as lucrative as the last time. I made good money on it.
I don't know if I have the time to do it. That's more the thing for me is time. It requires a lot of running out, buying, and inputting codes in a website, and then following the market, trying to bid on the right stuff. I think I'll pass. I'll take some leftover Doritos though, especially if they're taco.
Just that whole process just seems like. I mean, admittedly, it was worth your time and whatever, but I mean, I don't know. Seems like a lot of effort.
I made it a lot of effort. Like most people, just threw out the chips. Like if I would have just thrown out the chips, it would have been like, go to the store, get the codes, enter the codes, be done with it. I think next time I'm just going to sell most of the codes just for straight cash. I mean, I'm still going to keep the chips. I'm going to put them in like
straight cash, homie.
Yeah, Randy Moss reference. Thank God somebody else noticed. God, I always say that. Nobody has no idea what the hell it is.
Yeah, well, of course I know what it is. It's Randy Moss.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously what you say after you hit a parking attendant with your car.
No, it wasn't the parking attendant. It was he was paying the NFL playoff game where he pretended to moon. He scored a touchdown. He pretended to moon the fans.
The parking attendant.
No, he pretended to moon the fans, and then he so he got fined $10,000 by the NFL. So he went to like wherever, like there was some place he could go in Minneapolis, and it was snowing outside, and there was like some guy there with a camera, like whatever paparazzi kind of thing, and they're like, "Randy, did you just pay your fine?" He's like, "Sure did." It's like, "Did you write him a check? A check? Straight cash, homie."
$10,000. Impersonation ever. It's amazing.
But yeah, no, you can find that video online. It's pretty good. So yeah, just straight cash, homie. But yeah, that's so that my brother and I would say straight cash, homie, all the time for the longest time.
I still say it from time to time. My
Yeah.
wife hates it.
Yes. No, the thing about the parking attendant was that like he had decided to go down a road or something like that, and like it was really like if you look at it, it was a person that like basically they didn't know it was Randy Moss, but they saw a Mercedes-Benz like super expensive car, and the traffic person was like, you can't go forward, you can't, and we're just standing there, and like there was eyewitnesses say that he was like inching forward slowly, and she kept on telling him to stop, and like but there was construction on either side, and so he couldn't go backwards because there was another car behind him. And so he was like shrugging his shoulders, and he started inching forward, and they just stood there. And then when he and apparently I guess maybe he just inched forward and actually nudged the person, and then they fell over, they kind of stood there for a second, and then they fell over on top of the car.
I'm looking at this story from the New York Times about this, and it says the agent tried to stop Moss from making an illegal turn downtown here, and Moss used his car to slowly push the agent a half block along the street.
No. So
stop when she fell to the ground, a police spokeswoman said.
Depending upon who you there was eyewitnesses say that as soon as they got close to you, the person just fell over, basically on top of the hood, and was a lot of people came forward and said that it was just somebody looking ambulance chaser kind of thing, it's like, and then they said, did you know it was Randy? Oh, I don't even know who Randy Moss is. The person said, whatever. Just it was a whole lot of nothing about that. What it was. But it's just classic Randy Moss though. That guy was a headache, even though he was amazing. And he deserves to go to the Hall of Fame. He was, and it was great watching him play for us. It was definitely a giant mess later on, but oh well. So
yeah,
there you go.
A half a block.
You're still stuck on that.
You're thinking big city blocks. These are Minnesota blocks. They're not as bad.
Yeah, he less than a gram of the of weed in his car. Yeah, and he basically paid a $1,200 fine and performed 40 hours of community service, which I'm sure was him just doing commercials saying, "Hey, don't be stupid like me." Pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor traffic violation.
Mm.
Well, at least he had the balls to actually hit somebody. Most people don't. They just want to.
No, he was untouchable. Randy Moss always thought he was untouchable.
Yeah.
Let's go through the Randy Moss chronology.
Here we go.
In 1977, he was born in Rand, West Virginia. In 1995, he was in a school brawl that leads to malicious wounding charge. 95, loses Notre Dame scholarship. 95, plays one season with Florida State University Seminoles. 96, violates terms of probation, spends 90 days in West Virginia jail. 96 to 98, plays 2 seasons for Marshall University. Makes dramatic catches in Vikings Thanksgiving Day game in 98. 99, fined by team for assaulting NFL official. 2001, fined by team for insulting corporate sponsors. 2001, fined by league for taunting opposing team. 2002, spends night in Minneapolis jail over traffic incident and drug possession. That's when it stops, this article, but that's pretty funny.
And there's your Hall of Famer, Randy Moss.
Yes. He also let's all the charities that he's donated money and time to. You know, there's a lot of story.
Honestly, these days, almost every single player now has a foundation and donates money. It's no longer the exception; it's more the norm.
Oh, so you didn't give money when it was cool, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
anymore.
though I'm saying is just because he donates money doesn't mean he's a good person. I mean, even
it definitely helps him be a better person. Correct.
It was probably part of his parole.
We're both first ballot Hall of Famers. Doesn't matter all the stuff off the field. They're both. I mean, numbers.
The NFL is different from the baseball in the fact that the off seasons, the off field stuff doesn't even matter. Hell, there's a freaking Ray Lewis, the murderer, is going in. So I mean, you know what? Yeah, that one makes me scratch my head more than anything. Just the
but he donates to charity, Lance.
Yeah.
Well, he should, because he killed a guy. Or two guys for that matter.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, according to his case, it was his friend that actually committed the murder. He just happened to be in the car with him.
No, he says he was nowhere near it.
I thought he was in the car. He was in the limo with him.
The white suit that he wore to the club that night has never been found since they asked him where his clothes. He said when the cops said you were wearing a white suit last night. Can we see that? I don't know where it's at, he said. And the cops were like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I don't know where it's at. Well, if you find it, let us know. I sure will.
It's in the incinerator.
Never been found. But, there you go. What are you going to do?
Hey, it was an accident.
It was an accident.
He was cleaning his knife, and boom, it went off.
It just slipped.
He was buttering a piece of bread, and the guy backed into him 18 times. It was the weirdest thing. Just don't know why he was buttering his bread with a machete, but just different people. But so he just said Ray Lewis, Aaron Hernandez, and OJ are all obviously innocent. Well, and the weird thing is that Aaron Hernandez died innocent. Did you like you ever read of that?
Yeah, if your court is in appeal, if your case is in appeals and you die, they throw the case out. So technically, he wasn't charged.
And because of that, then his fiance and kid or wife and kid then
can get his money. It won't be tied up. Yeah,
it won't be tied up. He knew exactly what he was doing. I can't. It was one of those things where it's like, holy cow! I mean, that guy knew he was going to kill himself.
Well, you know about his lawyer. I mean, he told him that.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody got anything else going on? I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of at a blank here.
A little bit morbid, but my family was on the news recently.
Oh God, see, I saw that, Forrest. That is all legit. Like that whole. That is.
But now,
crazy.
What's going on? Tell me what's going on.
They just ran this news report about my mother, who was murdered when I was 12. It's 20 years on, and it was so my family was on the news, and it was that was everybody was making a big deal out of it, except for me, which apparently I'm weird about. But yeah, I just thought it was humorous. I had to work, but they interviewed me over the phone. And apparently, what I said is drastically different from what my family said. I was like, yeah.
No. Okay, go back. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, I apologize. But I mean, explain.
No, I'm an open book, man.
What?
I'm an open book. I was 12, and somebody walked into our apartment while I was at my dad's for the weekends and shot my mother through the heart with a crossbow. And so yeah, I went and lived with my dad and spiraled down into drugs and sex and alcohol and ruined my life for like 12 years, and then eventually got out of it. But it's
hello, Aldi. You got it at the right time. I can see
so,
the story.
So what? It was like,
the
so
hell did I log into?
They did a news story.
All I heard was something about.
Well, it's unsolved. So it's 20 years on, and they're just hoping to rekindle anything from anybody. So that was pretty big news in my family this week.
Wow.
So I mean, but like, what? I mean, that sucks. But I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like they don't. I mean, they literally have no idea who would have done it.
I mean,
They
a
had a partial.
crossbow.
Well, it was. I mean, obviously, I don't know, but it was my dad. I mean, he's in prison for being a pedophile. I mean, and he was going to pay child support out the ass, like crazy amounts of child support. And he mysteriously came back into my life after like 7 years, and then my mom dies. I mean, now that I'm an adult, it's not that hard to connect the dots, and because I mean, he was a terrible, terrible human being, just in general. So if I was betting money, he paid somebody to do it, or he did it himself. But no, it's unsolved.
Well, you said it was a partial print on the.
Partial fingerprint was on the bow. At least that's what the detectives told us. At the time, my dad said, I shouldn't have touched the picture because they might have just been trying to get our fingerprints on the picture so they could compare it to, I don't know, something else. But yeah, so that was.
But if he's in jail, they've got his prints.
Yeah, no, I'm more leaning towards the fact he probably paid someone to do it. I mean, my dad was also. I mean, he was just a bad dude. I mean, I still remember he had all like 30 or 40 print-offs of the Anarchist Cookbook and just all sorts of crazy shit like that. I mean, he was not a good dude.
Well, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
You move on.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 kids. I got a job. I got the channel. I got board games to worry about. I really don't even think about it that much, to be honest with you.
You know, that's like one of those things where, like they talk about like the coping ability of humans. You know, like like everybody has like when they were young, they had the person they dated or whatever, and then like you were just. I mean, not everybody's like this, but I mean, you like there was somebody you dated that you just were like head over heels in love with, and like you couldn't believe, and then like it didn't work out. They just didn't feel the same way or whatever, and you got devastated. And you have that moment of like, oh, I'll never get over this, and it's just kind of like. It's just I'm gonna I'm gonna be in love with this person for the rest of my life, and and you just don't you eventually just because if you didn't, that's what kills you, right? I mean, that's what like if you really feel like that, that's when you put a gun in your mouth or you just the stress or something eventually just takes you out, and it's just when I was, this is not me trying to like say anything. And I actually have another thing that bothers me, but hold on a second. So like when I was 18, like my best friend I'd had since I was like 5 years old, he died of cancer. And I was like, and I mean, I hung on to that like pain, forever, and just like, and I was, but eventually, I just, I still think about him all the time, but I mean, it's just like, but you like, Forrest said, I mean, it isn't like the same thing by any stretch of means. I'm not trying to illegitimize Forrest's loss, but it's just like I think about him, but it doesn't hurt me, like it used to. And I don't know. It's one of those weird things where, I think also as you get older, you kind of like also just kind of like you start to compartmentalize a lot of that stuff, and it doesn't affect you like it used to.
I don't know. To this day, I still can't watch Who's the Boss without thinking what could have been between me and Alyssa Milano, and it brings me down a little bit. She was my one and only for like a good 6 or 7 years of my childhood.
Well, one thing that I think is really fascinating is like my coping mechanism. I didn't heal properly from this, and I actually retroactively have done a lot of research and learned a lot about it. Like I volunteer with a place called Aaron's House, which is for kids who have lost their loved ones, and I volunteer there. I do 3 weekend retreats a year, and I go there, once a month. And apparently, how I pretty much did it was I blacked out. Like as bad as it is, I don't have that many memories of my mother, despite the fact I was 12, just because I could not cope with it. My brain realizing that just completely has blacked out so much. Like, I have to look at a picture to even remember what she looks like, which is, it's terrible, but it's just fascinating that our brains can do that. I mean, it's just amazing brain stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's just. Well, at least if whoever your father paid to have that done. I mean, they got.
I got theories.
Yeah, what's the line from Seven where he like the pedophile guy, they find him and he's all like he's still alive, and they're like, he's like, even if that man, the doctor says, even if that man had any ability to be sane at this point, he wouldn't be able to tell you anything anyway. He chewed and ate his own tongue probably around 3 or 4 years ago. And he's just like, it's like, oh my gosh. He's like, yeah, he was subjected to years of possibly the worst torture and pain of any human being I've ever heard of ever had to endure. And he still has hell to look forward to. It's just kind of like, I'll always remember that line from Seven. It was just a rather chilling statement. But hello, Scott.
I don't know what to say after all this. So it's a little bit.
Do you have
heavy.
a grievance you'd like to follow?
Yeah, you have a grievance.
Oh, grievance?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm grieving against I'm filing a grievance against my backpack.
What's wrong with your backpack?
I pulled my backpack. So I pulled my back coming back from LA. I pulled my backpack off the overhead, and there's people all under you and like over the place. So I'm kind of like doing this real awkward pull down, and the backpack swings down and smashes me in the nose. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna, like, that felt like bloody nose. Like I'm like, oh, am I bleeding? No, I'm not bleeding. Okay, I made it out of there alive. However, in the past 2 days, I've had no less than 3 bloody noses lasting almost an hour apiece. Which is just fucking annoying as shit. I'm like thinking it's almost like, and I'm attributing it to the backpack fucking me up. But I'm not touching my nose right now, so I'm trying not to. Like, I'll do like a little brush by my nose, and it's like fucking bleeding.
And I get that every allergy
the
season.
Blood vessel. Like, I had my nose cauterized when I was a kid. Where they stick that thing up your nose and burn it or whatever. And I think I might have to get it done again because this is like several days now. It's really annoying.
Huh. I just want to say this other thing that. And
there's my grievance.
Okay, this is my other grievance that I just thought of, and it really bothered me. And I mentioned it because I felt like I might have been doing it because of what Forrest just said and what I followed up with. But like, you will see somebody on social media, you will see somebody on, anything, and I don't. People that like will post something. I don't have a problem with the person initially posting something on media saying like, I'm having a really tough time. My. It could be anything, any kind of tragedy that's going on in their lives. It's like, my father is very sick, or I'm having, my dog had to be put down. Just things like that. Where it's just like they're reaching out to kind of say, hey, this is what's going on in my life. I need some support, and I think that's a wonderful aspect of social media. It gives people that, like that bridge to people that will just reach out and comment back, or hit, like, put the heart, or put like the sad face, or just it's like, I'm here if you need me, that kind of thing. When I see those, if there's somebody I know really well, I'll send them a private message and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Just like I don't like to put up a post because I feel that's kind of, you're kind of you're like, hey, look at me, I said, hey, I'm thinking about you. It's like, I feel, and this isn't against people who do say that, but I just feel like I don't want to be that person to kind of add to it, and like, make sure people know that I'm a caring person or something like that. But what the ones that actually do bother me are the ones that, like, somebody will say like, oh, it's like my dog of 14 years, we had to put him down. His kidneys were failing. I'm really broken up over this. And then you have somebody that's like, I know exactly how you're feeling. And then they proceed to tell their story of like how bad they were when their pet died, or if they're talking about I'm taking care of an elderly relative. Oh, this is my story of my elderly relative and how tough it was for me. It's kind of like, good Lord, don't make it about you. Just I realize that their heart is probably in the right place with what they're saying. As far as like, hey, look, I know how you feel. I've had this same, but I just that stuff just bugs the shit out of me. And probably I'm just getting old and cranky, and I need to let that shit go. But I mean, I don't know. That really bothers me when I see that.
Well, it's not just that. It's everything. It's when someone talks about even something good, like they're happy about something, and you have to ride on the coattails of it.
Just I don't know. But once again, it sounds like I'm just bitching about stuff that like.
I've got a grievance.
Was that a grievance?
So this past weekend, I took my daughter, probably for the last time, to Toys R Us for her to go shopping. She had some leftover money. I wanted to take her one last time, and it angers me that store, that chain of stores didn't adapt to the times enough to sustain themselves. Because as much as it's cheaper and more convenient to shop from Amazon, and as much as Target and Walmart and other stores have adapted a fairly decent toy selection, there's nothing like taking your kid, especially at my daughter's age of 7, into a store that is 10,000 square feet or 15,000 square feet of nothing but toys from wall to wall, and letting them just walk around and play with the displays and just be amazed by the sheer mass amount of stuff that's in there. And no matter what replaces Toys R Us, if anything, or no matter how big Target or Walmart or any of those other stores expand their toy line, it's not going to be the same. And it's a sad day that the place I grew up buying toys in, and I'm not going to be able to share that with my daughter much longer, like maybe a month, if that. And while I know it helps the board game industry a lot, because there's a lot of retailers that don't like Toys R Us and don't, because of the competition and whatnot. And from the toy perspective only, it's a sad thing to see that chain go away.
I wanted to be sad, and me and my wife went there on Saturday, and it was a goddamn shit show.
No, I know.
I'm
not defending them.
I understand what you're saying, because I grew up with
nostalgia. It's just the sheer joy. Even though the store is a crap hole now, my daughter didn't see that. She just saw wall to wall toys and displays she could play with, and hula hoops she could play with, and it's you don't get that anywhere else, even at these stores that are cleaner and nicer.
Yeah, definitely.
KB Toys is supposedly coming back now.
Of kids. That's not the same.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come back to fill its place, though.
Yeah, KB Toys. They just announced.
I don't know. Can they come back to the point to fill up 800 stores across the country?
Well, I'll say this about Toys R Us. I mean, like I would go there for like the weird random crap that would end up in clearance. Like and that's honestly what I would find there more than anything. I mean, like Forrest said, it was just a giant shit show. I mean, like they didn't. Sure. I mean, the people that worked there were like every single disaffected member of Generation Y. I mean, it was and the floors were dirty and crap was just kind of thrown haphazardly here and there.
The management never cared to invest much. Here's the deal: they had so much debt they couldn't really throw any more money back into the company to fix it.
And that's the thing; they got to the point where I don't know when it started.
Bain Capital to thank for that, by the way.
At some point in the last 10 years, their budget just got out of control, and they never could adapt. Their sales started declining, and instead of tailoring back, they ordered more and tried to have, they tried to beat Amazon with quantity, and it just didn't work.
But the other problem they had was the fact that they did online sales for Christmas, and I think of the 20 times in the past 8 years I've ordered something on Toys R Us for Christmas, 3 times I've actually gotten it. Every other time is, sorry, we're out of stock. I'm like,
they just didn't adapt. They didn't adapt well to the change in the environment in the marketplace, and that's the biggest thing. They still were running with the same thing. Well, we'll just give them the in-store experience, and people will come buy from us. And sadly, it just doesn't work anymore. Amazon is too convenient, and people's lives are too hectic. And while there's some of us older farts that enjoy going in and physically picking up stuff and playing with stuff to decide if you're going to purchase or not, too many people just it's easy for them to just click and get it cheap, and if they don't like it, they just resell it on eBay. It's a different market now, and they needed to adapt. They needed to downsize 5 years ago or 10 years ago before they got in over their heads and really focus on quality over the quantity of stores they had.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, my son wanted that little robot thing that you program with, and you can tell him what to do with your phone or your iPad. I forget what it's called. And my daughter really wanted the racing car game that you control. That you controlled with your phone. And they wanted both. And the cheapest place I could find was Toys R Us. I mean, I was like looking for it all over town, and they had them both like 40% off in the middle of Christmas. And I was just like, oh, I'll buy them here, And I mean, that was the last thing I ever bought there.
I was lucky. The Toys R Us we have here, the ones in Florida were really crappy. I mean, they were like the ones you see online that people always are gross. But the Toys R Us up here in South Carolina was great. I mean, they were the only one within like 200 miles. There's no Toys R Us anywhere around here except for the one we have. It was clean. The employees actually seemed nice. I mean, it wasn't anything like what I remembered the ones down in Florida being like. And it's just a shame. Like I said, there are bad stores everywhere, but it's a shame that they couldn't like franchise them out so that some of the ones that were actually good, because this store did real well. Like they were saying even a couple weeks ago before the announcement that their numbers, they were one of the best in the region, and that they actually were not one of the stores that was suffering from a huge deficit, and they actually thought they were going to be one of the few that remained. And then the announcement came out, and that it just sucked because they were actually a good store. And I would gladly gone in there and bought stuff over buying online, even if it was a few bucks more, because I like the store.
I think part of it is the corporate mentality these days too. Look at Sears and all that. Sears had quality tools at one time. Now they're all, from China and stuff like that.
We don't even have a Sears anymore.
No, Sears is gone.
But
I have
the other
not
thing
seen
is
Sears in years.
But Sears had great tools because no one else had made tools.
Yeah. Craftsman line was their like standard for.
Well, yeah, and then they sold off the Craftsman line.
Yeah.
Well,
it's same thing with like Kmart too. I mean, there's just stores that don't adapt, and then there's stores
that was the weird thing too. Sears bought Kmart, so it's like
the blind buying the blind.
Here's a shit store being bought by a shit store.
Yeah. And maybe they thought two shits would make a whole. I don't know.
I may have told the story, and I apologize for telling it possibly again. But
for a fourth time.
Yeah, for a fourth time. When our Sears was shutting down, like of course then now the vultures show up. Like they haven't shopped there in ages, but now it's closing down. Let's see what shit we can get for cheap. And I was sitting there, and like we went to Sears, and there was I didn't know if I was gonna buy anything or not. I was just kind of wandering around. I had the family with me, and we were just checking stuff out. And I was like, and we kind of wandered around, and then we kind of ended up over like in the like appliance section for Sears, and then we kind of wandered past that, and we ended up over in the section that was like weirdly both like beds, like selling mattresses, and then right next to it was like luggage and I was
vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, it was just like what section is this? And I was sitting there, and then the kids are like just going up and sitting on a bed, and they're laying down on a bed, just doing what kids do. And I look over, and these like teenagers come in, and they're all like, and they're checking out the different luggage, and they're just there to fuck around and do nothing. I mean, which is fine. They're kids. Who cares? But I watched as one of them like just was like picked up a piece of luggage, like a little rolling like suitcase that you just see everybody has, and who knows if it was good quality or not. And like he picks it up, and he's like, "There's something in here," and he opens it up, and he's kind of holding it like this, and he opens it up, he unzips it, and the thing opens up, and like no lie, like 10 to 20 like ripped open like watch boxes, like jewelry watch boxes fall out of this thing, meaning that somebody had gone over and like basically had like ripped up these things and like stolen the watches and then just stuffed the stuff into the this one like piece of luggage and then had walked out of the store with like all this stuff. And he's like, "Holy crap!" And they're like, "Oh, they're gonna think we did it." And, you know, they're just like, but I was just like, "Yeah, that's Sears." You know, just like somebody stole like, you know, probably, you know, $2,000 worth of watches or something from you, and nobody cared. You know, just like whatever.
Yep, Sears was another one. It was. I remember growing up going to Sears every weekend. Go to Sears to buy in television cartridges and Husky.
Oh yes, Sears for me was for Christmas, going there and buying my father-in-law a gift card because that's where he shopped. So it was just like, oh, this is easy enough. Just go there, pay him, you know, $50. There you go. You know, gift card. Good to go.
I almost wonder if 5 years from now, what companies will be able to stand up against Amazon? Like what regular retail brick and mortar companies are going to be able to survive? It just seems like they get bigger and bigger every year.
Well, and if they ever actually can do 1 day shipping for free, if they like that ever escalates to that or something like that, which is weird because here's the deal. They do ship that shit in 1 day. It just takes them it takes them 1 day to get it packaged up and delivered to wherever they're going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they ship so much stuff, they get such a great discount, they can afford to do it. I mean, when you're shipping millions of packages a day, you're going to get the best rates from all the shipping companies. That's why they can afford to do it. You know, they buy in large quantities, they get huge discounts, they pass it on. And you know, if they ever open up these stores, like if they ever start opening up these Amazon stores they're talking about where you don't even have to have a register, you scan your card when you walk in and then everything that goes in your cart just automatically gets billed to you. Those things ever go in, that's going to wreck a lot of the stores in the areas that those go up in, because not only can you order stuff online and get it quick, but you can also go in and get, you know, everyday stuff that you would need and not have to sit in line for checkout, not have to, you know, just basically walk in, grab your stuff and go. I mean, convenient. It's all about convenience these days. And the more convenient you can make the experience, the more people are going to jump on it.
Well, like here, mark the day. So it's the 21st of March. How much longer does Barnes & Noble manage to stay in business?
I think they're one of the next to go. Honestly, like now that Toys R Us is falling, I think it's going to be your Barnes & Nobles. It's going to be your, I mean, with what little Kmarts are left, I'm sure there are not many. I know there's only one in this area, and Florida, most of them are already closed. I think Kmart, Barnes & Nobles, I think any Books A Millions. I even think malls in general. I think most of the, I mean, other than your like mega, like your Mall of US, the Mall of USA or whatever, Mall of America.
Mall of America, baby.
Other than the super mega malls that are sponsored by big corporations, I think a lot of your small town malls are going to go away too. I mean, other than grocery stores, I think grocery stores are the only ones that, you know, you can't really buy all your groceries on Amazon. I mean, you're going to have some stuff that you can go in the last minute and pick up milk or something. So I think a lot of these stores are going to go. And I think what you'll see is a resurgence in small mom and pop shops.
Well, that's a wonderful answer, but I actually wanted a date. So how much longer? May
15th.
May 15th.
I think 5 years.
You're saying so four things in approximately 2 months. Yes. A little less than 2 months.
No, May 15th, 2023.
I think in the next 5 years you will see Books A Million, what's left of Sears, Kmart, and most of the small mini malls are going to go away. I
want to disagree on one thing. I definitely think Barnes & Noble's gone. I mean, their management's god awful.
Well, Barnes & Noble just fired all of their salaried employees.
Well, they should. Like who goes to the records? Who buys their movies there? Why do they have that crap? they have the Red Dot, 2 Dot clearance sale.
When they start diversifying is when you know they're in trouble, because they're looking for anything they can get to start generating revenue. I think GameStop probably is going to be on the go too. I mean, they're starting to diversify.
Well, that's hard to.
GameStop, as much as I like going to my local GameStop, because I was digging through all my old crap in the basement here, and I found all my old PS3 games. And I just brought them in, and they gave me like $100 for them. I was like, fine, done. I don't know. You're never going to sell these. It's like nobody's going to buy these. Why are you giving me cash for these?
The one thing I want to say, though, is I don't see malls going away just because, I mean, I don't know when the last time you went to a mall.
Mall walkers.
Exactly. Teenagers, too. Teenagers all over the place, everywhere.
They don't buy nothing now.
Yeah, that's the problem. They don't buy nothing. Mall rent is the most expensive rent you can get for any.
Not anymore. I was actually talking to some people. The mall rent's going down because they can't get people to want to stay there. Because like people would rather be in like a strip mall now.
Well, yeah, and it's cheaper for the strip mall to operate because like a mall, you've got all that common space, your air conditioning, you're using electricity on, so they've got to pass that down to the people that rent. Whereas a strip mall, you can bill everyone individually, so they're paying for their own stuff, so you don't have all that. I really feel like the big malls, the indoor malls, are going to all slowly fade away, with the exception of some of your big ones, like the one you have there in Minneapolis, and some of the, like obviously, there's going to be a few that are going to survive, but I think in general, most of them are going to get torn down and built into outdoor malls so that they can budget the costs more efficiently.
I think a lot of that is going to end up being. I mean, it's. I mean, like Target is here to stay just because they've realized that they can have super Target stores. They can sell a little bit of groceries, and people will go to Target for their stuff.
I also think they've really hit on women a lot. Like I know my
Those
wife.
Bastards. They should be more respectful.
She'd pay 16-20% more just to go to Target because
my wife will not touch Walmart. She'll only go in Target. She thinks Walmarts are gross, but she thinks Targets are much cleaner. They're nicer.
Well, they are.
My wife's the same way.
Yep.
But I walked into Walmart for like the first time ever in like, I don't know, it had been about a year, and I walked in. I don't even know what I needed. I think I needed some BBs because BBs are a perfect agitator for putting in paint pots. Like if you have like paint that won't mix, you just put a BB in and shake it up, and it works wonderfully. So I walked in, and it was just like, and I wanted some, and I was like, I bet and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I was just like, oh well, Walmart has that gun.
Yeah,
they sell guns. They gotta have BBs, right? So I went back and like bought my $1.79 package of BBs, but I walked in, and like. It was like I hadn't been there for so long, but I breathed in the first breath of Walmart smell, and I was like, oh God, I hate this place. I mean, it was like it's just.
And that's the opinion most people have. I don't know anybody that loves Walmart.
I love Walmart.
See, our Walmart is really clean. It's really nice.
Is it a newer one, or is it just a well-kept?
No, it's been there for years. Our Kmart is a friggin' shit show.
Well, yeah,
around here, Kmart is. I mean, Kmart is.
I know in South Carolina, I've been to like 4 different Walmarts in this area, and they're all dirty and disgusting. But the 3 Targets that are in this area are like, they look brand new, even though they're like 7, 8, 10 years old.
Yeah, our Kmart looks kind of like, I don't know if you're in your town, if you have one of those places that has like, it was a big building at one time. They have like the weekend indoor flea market.
Yeah, no, the one Kmart here too is like you walk in and it looks like it's a swap meet. I mean, it's just crap everywhere. It's not well kept.
Literally, I had to stop in there to get something because I needed some Loctite super glue, and I know they had it, and they usually have buy one get one like half off. So I stopped in there, and I had to walk past the electronic section. And I think they had 2 TVs.
And 6 Blu-rays and a couple VHS tapes.
You can get this one or this one.
Yeah,
My Kmart went out of business about 1.5 years ago, and I went there like the last couple weeks to check it out. As Lance said, swoop in to get the deals, and I kid you not, I found like 6 PlayStation 1 games. And I was like, "What in the?" Why? Why is this here?
Yeah.
Why in the blue hell?
$8 a pop, and I was like, God.
No, in Florida, I moved out. When I left Florida 6 years ago, there was not a Kmart within 100 miles of where I lived, and I was not far from Tampa. I mean, there was just none. And then I come up here and there's a Kmart still to this day. It's open, and I don't know how they stay open. I mean, they must just have some loyal fan base because there's a Kmart like 10 miles from my house. It's dirty and it looks disgusting, but it's open.
So there used to be there used to be like 3 or 4 Kmarts in my area, and they've slowly just dwindled down. And one of my favorite stories of like a buddy of mine who's still a good friend, he when I lived in the same apartment building, and he still lives there. I lived in the same apartment building. There was a Kmart like right next to where we lived, and so it was kind of handy to go there for some stuff. You know, it was just like if you got up on the 3rd floor of our apartment building, you could probably throw a rock and hit the roof of the Kmart. So we would end up going there for like you go there and get soda or something like that, just random stuff. And they had talked about the fact that one was going to close, and they were going to like then move all the inventory to the last Kmart in town. And like literally, like he went there. He told me, he's like, "Holy shit, dude! They closed the Kmart." I was like, "What? No way!" And he's like, "Yeah, I know that because I was the last person to buy something there." Like he said, he walked into Kmart at like 8:50 to buy like 2 liters of soda, and he walked in. And there was just like some people standing around the front, and he walked up and he like grabbed like 4 2-liters of Coke. He walked up, paid them their like $7 or whatever. As he walked to the door and went through, the person closed it, locked it, put the sign. Just like he was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Yeah, just closed. All inventory moving to 13th Avenue store.
No, do you want to hear the best story about a store closing? So we had a golden corral here. Literally, they were building the golden corral here for 2.5 years. Everyone was like, "We're finally getting a golden corral."
Finally.
That's a good thing. I didn't realize there was a high demand restaurant.
But here's the thing: like they had Golden Corral commercials on TV here for like 5 years prior, and all we ever saw was these commercials. But we never had one. There was no one even close to us. So we get the big sign: Golden Corral is coming. They open the Golden Corral. A week after they're open, some guy ODs in the bathroom.
On gravy?
No, there's some guy who was in there. He OD'd in the bathroom, but then like a week later, they shut the doors, and that's it. It's gone. It was open for 2 weeks.
Wow, he OD'd on mashed potatoes and gravy.
No, the guy, I don't know what the hell happened. The guy apparently OD'd in the bathroom, but then a week later they closed. It had nothing to do with the guy ODing.
Yeah, there's no Golden Corrals where I'm at up here. I haven't seen one, at least not that I've seen, but in Florida they were all over the place, man.
The Golden Corral we had in town shut down because of health problems. Like,
I'll tell you, one place I missed was the Ponderosa. I haven't seen a Ponderosa in years.
Oh,
I don't know if they're still around, but Ponderosa, that place, when I remember as a kid, I used to love that place.
The Ponderosa and the Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Anybody have Shoney's breakfast back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Shoney's breakfast was good.
So here's something random that I just thought of when Anthony was talking about. He was talking about buying Loctite super glue. First of all, Loctite gel super glue is such a good product for mini computers. But anyway, why don't they sell big things?
Because it dries out quickly.
Super glue. What?
Yeah, I think Barry's got
out quickly.
Yeah, go through my junk drawer. I've got like 8 of them dried out in there.
Yeah. Yeah, the bigger the container, just the more likely it is to all get hardened up from air constantly getting in every time you open and close it. Yeah. That's why it's in such small tubes, so you can use most of it before it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Lord Javi says we don't have a Godfather's Pizza in here. I think we have one Godfather's Pizza.
I haven't even seen a Godfather's Pizza in 20 years. I remember as a kid, I remember Godfather's Pizza, but I've not seen one in forever.
Godfather's hot stuffed pizza is it's this thing with like hot Italian peppers and and jalapenos and like some sort of weird like spiced cheese. It is a damn good pizza, and I think we have one left in our town. But I mean,
Pizza Inn is another one. I haven't seen a Pizza Inn in forever.
I don't even know what a Pizza Inn is.
Pizza Inn used to be like the big competition for Pizza Hut. At least back when I was a kid, I remember Pizza Inns were all over the place, but I haven't seen one in 10 years, 15 years.
What we have up here for actually dine-in pizza restaurants, and we have pizza ranches. I don't know if anybody has a pizza ranch.
Not heard of them.
We have a pizza ranch, and I think that's like a Midwest thing. It's very much like cowboy themed, country music playing in the background, and very, very, very obviously Christian. Like they talk, like the Pizza Ranch like motto, the belief in Jesus, our Lord and Savior, and
oh wow,
just like very, very Christian. And we have a Happy Joe's, which is like nobody knows what that is.
Yep.
But they're a pretty small time chain, but really good pizza. And the only one that actually has dine-in pizza that I'm thinking about,
CC's.
No, we don't have a CC's yet, and I don't think we will get a CC's. I can't think of the name of it right now. Oh, we have Uncle Mattio's. Does anybody have an Uncle Mattio's?
No, never heard of that one either.
Yeah, so those are like our dine-in pizza places that are chains.
Other than Pizza Hut up here, the only dine-in pizza places we have are pretty much mom and pop shops. We don't really have any other chain pizza places around here.
Yeah, the last place that we had a dine-in Pizza Hut up till like 2 years ago, and then that one shut down. Now all we have is delivery. But pizza's garbage anyway. So
yeah. Has anybody been to Toppers in LA?
No.
California?
No.
So Lincoln took me there when I was there last week, and oh my god, I want to franchise that place. I mean, it's
Pizza?
a chain in LA.
Well, you got $97 million. You can probably do that.
Oh, it's the best. It was so good.
Never heard of him.
Oh
Yeah,
my god!
I mean, it's a California thing.
The first location opened in Wisconsin.
Oh, so here's a weird thing. So here in town, here in North Dakota, in Fargo, this guy started this he started having a food truck when the oil boom was going on in western North Dakota, and he called it Sweeto Burrito, and basically he had all these different like burritos that he made, and they were good. And so he had a food truck, and then he did well enough with the food truck that he then opened up a restaurant, like a come in, dine in, and eat, these burritos, and they're good. Once again, just called Sweeto Burrito. And so then he apparently franchised it because Utah, where the rest of the people that I work with, well, not the rest of, but like most of the rest of the people that I work with live, have a Sweeto Burrito that they can go to and eat. But he's since closed down his store here in Fargo. So like I don't have a Sweeto Burrito that I can eat at anymore. But they franchised it out, and so everybody else at my job can do it. So the guy who created it doesn't have one anymore, but the franchisees do. How dumb is that? I can't go eat my carne assassin.
It may not be that dumb. He may just be collecting money from the franchise.
Yeah, now he's collecting money and not having to work hard to get it.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't solve the problem that I want a carne assassin.
It's not always about you, Lance.
How far
this is about me.
How far does it?
It's not a quick drive.
You must not like the burrito that much then.
Well,
Stop your bitching then.
So I was reading while you guys were talking. We actually may be getting an Amazon store.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get one too. We have an Amazon hub like within an hour of where I live, and there's talks of one of those Amazon stores coming in here.
Why would you go to that?
Why would or why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why would you? Like, what if you're not going to buy in a regular store? Like all these stores go out of business. Why would you go to an Amazon store?
Because I think the Amazon stores are going to be price matched with the online store, and you don't have checkout. You just walk in, swipe your card, grab your stuff, and go. So it's super convenient, and it's going to be trendy, right? I mean, if you're an Amazon,
it'll be trendy
member,
for a while, and then once this wears off,
I don't know if they'll be long lasting, but yeah, I mean, it's the novelty, right? You walk in, you don't have to sit at checkout. You just walk in, grab your shit, and go, and it just bills you. I mean, there'll be people that'll try to take advantage of that too. I'm sure there will be. Yeah. Or people trying to push the limits of the technology and see if it catches everything. I'm sure. I'm sure they'll be
buy all the Toys R Us's and all the Barnes and Nobles.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're looking at what Toys R Us's are because
Sears. and
Well,
they'll
the Toys
have
R Us
Amazon
is
stores
perfect
everywhere.
for them because they're huge stores and they could use them either as warehouses or they could use them as Amazon fronts and have half of it as warehouse space and half. I mean, if they're eventually going to try to get same day shipping on most of their stuff, they're going to need big
Yeah, they're gonna have
stores that they
local-
can. Yeah, they're going to end up using the
local
backs of all
warehousing.
these Toys R Us's as little mini warehouse Amazon warehouses so they can start shipping quickly.
Yeah.
And have the drone army go out and deliver freaking toothpaste.
I saw that they're starting up food delivery too.
Yep. Well, yeah, they've done food delivery for a while. Like I
Have
order all
they?
those Doritos, all those Doritos that I've been getting.
No, I mean
are
like
from the-
restaurants and stuff where you order from a restaurant. And they
Oh,
pick
I
up
didn't
and
know about
deliver.
that. No,
Well,
I know
they
they've
just
been
bought Whole
food.
Foods, so
Oh, they bought Whole Foods.
Yeah, I got this Amazon restaurants $10 off. So
yeah, they bought Whole Foods.
deliver 10
Huh.
free.
Wow. Free delivery,
Like yeah, like also is always fast free delivery. $10 off your first order.
and you can order
Like,
from any
I'm
restaurant.
paying. So I order quite often from those like Uber Eats and Caviar and all those Grubhub.
Mhm.
And the pricing is just ridiculous. Like the fees and delivery fees, and then like surge pricing they have too
Yeah.
when it's busy. You're paying like $10 to $20 on top of your bill,
No, that's not worth it
which
to
is
me.
just ridiculous. Yeah,
No, I mean, if it was like a $5 flat fee to have it brought to your
it's
door,
not. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
it would be
you
worth it.
start at 5, and then you got then also you have tip
Yeah, right.
plus fees,
No, but there are people that will love the convenience and get
and
their
then the
dinner
food's
delivered to
cold
them
and
for
like missing
$15.
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I think too much is getting too convenient. Like there's a certain point where convenience needs to be
so
substituted for
we do
quality.
it on game day because we don't want to take the time to go get food.
Well, the end.
We'll get it for 12 hours or whatever, and we're like, oh, we'll just order something, and then we'll like shave off time.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually we're just gonna have shops that are just everything you need to do, you can do in one place. I mean, I think it was
Everything is Taco Bell.
No, I mean like everything will be there. Like I know my wife was talking about how Walmart they're adding like 500 FedExes to their stores just so you can start shipping there. And I don't like if the post office was in Walmart's or Target's. I think you'd see a big boom in it because I mean half the annoyance of the post office is going to the post office, and they just start pushing all that stuff together. I think it's the future.
I think it would be more annoying to have to go to Walmart to ship something because I don't like going into Walmart anyway. I mean, think how busy the lines are in a Walmart to begin with. Imagine having people sitting in there wanting to ship something to Kalamazoo and have to sit there and fill out a form for their shipping label while you're trying to just return a pair of socks that don't fit. I mean, that'd get old real quick.
Yeah.
Well, there. I'm looking at the.
I have a
article
great
now.
shipping
It's
store
adding
like 1
500
block away
FedEx.
from me, so it's easy to go to.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if the shipping stuff is going to really do a whole lot for them, but I do see that the combination of food, grocery, and stores has been working well because I can't tell you how many times now I go into a Target and see people in there shopping in the food section. It's amazing to me.
Super Target.
Yeah, the super Targets. Like I don't go to Walmart that
It's
often.
like a combination.
But
Yeah, but
yeah,
here's the thing, Pete. Like, if you go in there for a FedEx and you're like, "Oh, I need this and I need that," I mean,
Yeah, it's all about like, opportunity, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to go check to see if they got the Doritos that I want, or check to see if they got, I need the BBs for the.
I need the latest Star Wars movie on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
right, everybody.
Lance, I started watching it, so I haven't seen it since the movie came out. I started watching it, I had to turn it off.
Oh, did you get the digital download?
I got the digital, and I got I started watching the commentary, which just makes me so angry. After listening to Ryan Johnson talk about why he did something in the movie, just like I haven't finished it yet. I want to finish it but the movie
push
just,
through, man. Push through.
I don't want to actually talk about the movie, but like,
Well, I mean, that abysmal piece of shit that they put on us.
oh my gosh! Have you guys seen any of the deleted scenes? Have any of the deleted scenes?
No, I'm not. I'm waiting for the Blu-ray to come out. I'm not.
Oh my god! They're. I mean, I almost wish they were in the movie because they're funny. Like they're like comedy slapstick things.
Nah, just remember Infinity Gauntlet's around the corner, so that'll keep you positively thinking.
Oh my gosh! I finally went and saw Thor Ragnarok. Me and my wife did. Oh god! I know I'm a couple months late, but God.
Oh god, how good
Black
or oh god,
Panther
how
is
bad?
good. Thor Ragnarok was funny. Infinity Gauntlet, I think, is going to be a home run.
I think Thor Ragnarok's my favorite MCU movie out there now.
Oh wow,
it's a really good movie.
Pretty up there.
it's good. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 3 or 4, but I enjoyed it.
What's
I
above it?
definitely laughed.
I'm curious. What do you like better than it, Pete?
What do I like better than Thor Ragnarok?
Then Thor. Yeah. Just that.
I
I mean,
liked-
I'm not trying to pick on you. or
No,
anything,
no,
so
no. I liked Civil War, Black Panther, the first Avengers movie. Those are all those are all movies that I would go see before I'd see Thor Ragnarok again.
Hey,
I'm not a huge Thor fan, but I did like the movie. I just it was funny and enjoyable, but I'd see Civil War or Black Panther over that anytime.
Lance?
Ant-Man's my favorite.
What?
Lance,
I like it more.
you said you like Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
You like the crank yankers scene in the beginning?
That wasn't a crank yanker scene. And the thing is that there have been predecessors. Other Marvel movies have made jokes of those types before. Name me a Star Wars that was it was completely out of character for the movie.
Oh, you're talking about the
Go
Ben.
listen to the commentary.
I
for that.
like the whole. Hold on, coming back
No.
around, coming back around. I swear to God, I'm not doing this. It's just spitting me.
Wait,
Yeah,
did
I
you
mean,
not like that part? That part?
no, he's trying to put me in a box, but he can't. So
Just a quick question.
No,
Is
'cause
that
you're
one of
too
those new
big.
flavored Cokes, Scott?
What?
Is that one of the new flavored Diet Cokes?
No, it's just regular.
Oh,
I don't like the can. I'm not really a fan of, but whatever. I don't care.
Nice.
Saw Black Panther in LA at the Chinese theater. If you guys can ever get out there and go to that Chinese theater, holy shit. It is amazing.
I want to say this about
Perfectly in focus, fucking gigantic IMAX screen, like no blurry edges or nothing. The sound is like phenomenal. The seats are comfortable.
Oh, good.
So good.
I want to say this about the Black Panther movie. I thought that it was good. I don't understand why people are like talking about how it's like the best movie ever.
I agree.
Well,
is it like sixth now, all-time box office? I know it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, it
Well,
broke,
and
broke
that's
the 1
why
billion mark
Well,
before any of the
for
other.
that more than Guardians of the Galaxy, which was like everybody raved about. But
Well, I think they're also hitting on, a subsection. I think the same thing happened with Wonder Woman. Like, they made a great movie, and also it's a movie for people who can say, this is my movie. There's tons, all these superhero movies out there. This is my movie. This is aimed at me. This is designed for me. Aside from like Blade and stuff, which happened before. But yeah, I think it's the same thing happened with Wonder Woman.
Well, for me, Black Panther was more. I've been a fan of that character in particular for a long time. So this was just a movie about one of my favorite characters. And while I thought the movie was great, it was more of a finally he gets some screen time.
is it the same origin? Like his father died and he became the Black Panther.
Yeah, for the most part, it stayed fairly true to the. They always make liberties, but it's
I do have a
true.
question. Why doesn't everybody get like one of those little magical flower drinks? Like,
it's just tradition. It always goes.
But I mean, like, what? Like,
why not make it whole? Well,
why not make everybody like amazing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
certainly had a lot of flowers.
Yeah. Well, not that many if you think about it. They burned up pretty quick.
Sure.
There was.
But I assume they can just keep regrowing them, right? it's
maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the.
Yeah,
he was the last one to ever take a flower, so I guess if they don't regrow, he'll be the only Black Panther ever. But no, I liked the movie a lot. I'm not a huge Captain America fan, but Civil War is one of my favorite movies. So, that movie, just on the merit of the movie alone, really got me. But this movie I liked a lot because I'm a huge fan of the character. So,
I think my
I'm gonna have a lot of cool ideas.
Nicolas Cage sucks.
I'll say this.
Don't mess with the Ghost Rider.
With it just seemed like with Black Panther, admittedly they had a lot of beginning and a lot of middle, but it just seemed like, oh, I defeated your guy in battle, so now we're gonna go ahead and admittedly he had the one guy following him or believing in him or whatever, but it was just like, so now we're gonna go and we're gonna attack the world. Just like, why just because you defeated this one guy in battle, now all of a sudden we have to listen to like So if what if
What is
the
his name? Body count?
Black Panther or whatever,
What was
Killmonger.
that?
So
Killmonger.
wins. And all of a sudden he's like, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to attack the world and we're going to take over the world or whatever.
Right. He's just built up all this anger over.
Well, okay, fine. But, wouldn't the rest of the nation just say no?
No.
They'll choke you, man. They'll choke you.
Again,
They couldn't beat him, right? They couldn't beat him.
Yeah, if the Black Panther couldn't beat him in combat, who's going to stand up to him? So
Well, I'm pretty sure if everybody else,
the entire Wakandan continent or country just said, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to kick your ass. They probably could have done it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't care how many of those flowers he ate.
Well, here's the thing. All right, this is total spoilers, though, right? So stop watching.
I'm gonna go off for the night. I got bed and I've not seen.
Oh, okay. I don't want to take you away. We can talk about something else.
No, I gotta get to bed. Later, everybody.
Night.
I can go have a cigarette if you want to go talk about it.
It's just one stupid nitpick.
All right, let's go nitpick.
Of logic.
I'm walking away.
Go nitpick.
Like you said, Lance, why didn't they all stand up to him?
Yeah.
But they did stand up to the other Black Panther when he tried to come back and take over. They fought him. Right? The army.
Yeah.
Armies. Like the Royal Guard and the army and all the people, they fought against one Black Panther guy with his two or three team backup. So they could do that, but they weren't. I don't know, were they winning?
It didn't drive the plot, Aldi.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying, well, they could have overthrown the original, he'll kill us or whatever, if we fight him. But no, we'll fight the other guy who we actually trust and know. As kind of just this weird logic thing.
There were things earlier in the movie that the guy who was in charge of the army disagreed with the original Black Panther about and didn't like the direction he was taking it. So when the new guy came in, he immediately followed him because he was doing what he wanted to be done in the beginning.
Right, he wanted revenge.
He wanted revenge. He wanted aggression. He wanted to go out and show people what they were made of. And the other guy was, no, I want to stay in the shadows and just keep doing what we're doing. And so that was what kind of drove that plot. Okay. And granted, yeah, but he didn't defend the other Black Panther because he didn't agree with his beliefs. So when the other guy came in, he's like, yeah, I get behind you and my entire army will follow you. And there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was what?
I like the fact that there's no going to be any spinal injuries anymore in the world.
No.
Because they've solved all that, right? They've got that whatever thing. They healed Martin Freeman overnight from a paralyzing spinal cord injury.
Well, and obviously that will be used for War Machine, obviously, to make it so he can do his thing. But no, it just seemed like the third act was really rushed.
Yeah, they had to get through it.
It was just and now we're gonna mobilize, we're gonna take over the world, and now we're gonna fight, and now it's over. Okay. Yeah, it was just kind of And
then we're gonna go to the UN.
Yeah,
we're gonna open up a outreach center in the projects.
Yeah,
of LA or wherever it was.
Which is fine.
Whatever. It was a fine movie. I enjoyed it. Watched it. There was some
meaningless exposition. It was just here's our underground area where we have these trains going, and then we're gonna.
Trains.
I'm gonna have
a 30 that was coming into the play.
A 30-second explanation of what these trains are and how they work, because obviously we're gonna be fighting on them later.
Yes, everything was planned and predicted and there for reasons.
So that stuff bugs me when they do that.
Yeah, they could have just had them fighting on the thing and not even really explained it. You could see what it was doing to their armor, visibly. They were like, "What's happening to my armor?" And they could have said, "Oh,
yeah." But if they didn't explain it, then somebody would say something like, "Wow, why did that even work?"
Why did their armor get?
Yeah, they have to.
You couldn't have had one line to explain what was going on.
One more nitpick. So Killmonger comes into the room, right? And the Black Panther King or whatever, he immediately defaults, yeah, I'll fight you. Right? Instead of being like, yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from. What can we do about it? Instead, it's like, nope, I'm just going to fight you to the death right now. Done. instead of like, hey, my dad killed your dad, and not even gonna deal with that. We're just gonna fight. So it's just it was just a bizarre, weird,
that
diplomatic thing.
The disconnect from the characters wasn't there for me. So Killmonger beats him, picks him up, and throws him off the waterfall, right? Yep. Because of course he wouldn't actually kill him, like really.
Don't snap him in half or anything.
Don't break him. Don't snap his neck. Don't gouge out his eyes.
Yeah.
Throw him off of a cliff because then he can survive, right? But okay, fine. Not once. I mean, okay, so you go and you watch a Mission Impossible movie, like. You have to just finally, you have to allow yourself to believe, okay, maybe Tom Cruise could die. Even though you're pretty sure Tom Cruise isn't going to die. You have to watch it and you get caught up in the excitement and you do, because it's a good storytelling. I never felt once. For 1 second. That Black Panther was dead. It was just
yeah. Now you're like, oh, there's still half an hour left of the movie. He's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back and he's got to defeat. It was just that. So it's stuff like that bugs me.
For a second, I thought they were going to do something different, though. I thought they were going to leave him dead.
Okay. So
for the rest of the movie,
for me, it's like in those movies, they I think somebody said this before, but it's just there's no permanence, right? People like heroes don't ever really lose anything. Like one of the things I really liked about Thor Ragnarok was the fact that Hel cut out one of his eyes.
Yeah.
And that's a permanence. That's something that happened to him. It's something that going forward you're going to see he's been affected by. And unfortunately, in a lot of the superhero movies, it's they never really pay for their mistakes. They never really. I don't know. It's something that bugs me. The thing about Thor Ragnarok, and I said this before, and I apologize for saying it again, but if you actually go back, and this is in the comic books 20 years ago, or maybe, it was, anyway, they did Ragnarok in the Thor comic book, and the stuff that happened in that movie was very liberally taken from the comic book, including the Executioner, the guy with the two M16s or whatever, fighting the armies of the dead. Like he decides to turn good at the very end. And fights and sacrifices his life so the rest of the Asgardians can live. So it's it was cool for me to see those moments or whatever.
So in Thor, though, it's basically another exactly sort of the same logic issue where what was Kate Blanchett's character called? What was her name?
Hel.
Was it Hel?
Well, it's
Hela or something.
Hela. It's Hela. But she's known as Hel. Hela, whatever. Anyway, Go ahead.
And she built Asgard as it was. Didn't she say something like, "Why do you think everything's made of gold?" Right? There wasn't some line like that in the movie. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
something like that. Yeah.
They immediately fight her, and it's well. You are the one that got us to where we are. Why do we immediately fight you because you're bad or whatever? I don't know.
Because again, it's a movie.
She wasn't really bad. She was.
They needed a combat scene. They used that plot point to push them against each other.
But Thor Ragnarok,
she only had one ally.
It had Stephen Strange in a perfect cameo.
Sure. I'm not trying to say Thor is bad. Ragnarok's bad.
I mean, this is why it's in my. Civil War is the only one I think and maybe the first Avengers, but it's definitely right up there. I don't know. I mean, Civil War and Guardians of the Galaxy, the first Guardians of the Galaxy, are really, really close. I mean, those two are just really, really good movies. But regardless, it's Thor Ragnarok is in my top 5, which is actually really impressive because 2 was kind of a pile. But
I like 2.
Dark Worlds, I didn't like that.
I want the more weird Thor stuff instead of the straightforward stuff.
Yeah, I understand where you come from with that.
All the
but I mean, how good? I mean, I can see that scene over and over again. How good was that? I call them movie chill moments where she's got him and what again were you the god of? And then he has the vision of his father and he's I'm not as strong as you. You're right. You're stronger. What are you? Are you the god of hammers? and then it has the Led Zeppelin music playing in the background.
I'm glad that they got the actual Led Zeppelin song for that scene.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which is, if you listen to the song, it's about Vikings. Like that's that Led Zeppelin song. We come from the land of the ice and snow. Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this, but I meant to ask you what you thought of that Vikings commercial during the Super Bowl. Where they're sailing into the.
It was obviously filmed differently, right? For the Vikings that made it. It was whatever. I mean, we lost. Take our lumps, including. Hopefully next year we'll make it.
I thought it was one of the better commercials.
Yeah, it was funny. I liked it.
Hopefully next year we'll make it, and they'll do us justice and do another video of us actually pulling it off. But I mean, it was it was. But I mean, the thing about being a Vikings fan is that we're so used to defeat, and honestly, the miracle win against New Orleans, being able to kick them right in the dick was, kind of.
That was your Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, the Super Bowl would have been our Super Bowl, obviously. But I mean, after New Orleans cheated basically in the championship game and beat us, being able to do that to them kind of felt really good. I mean, and obviously it was an amazing play. So, whatever. And the Patriots lost, so who cares, right? And the thing is that if we had gotten to the Super Bowl, I just know we would have lost. Not only did we go to our own hosting, and the thing is, we'll never host again. It was 20 below outside or whatever. We will never host a Super Bowl again.
It didn't look that cold in the stadium.
Well, it's because it's not outdoors.
But what does 20 below outdoors matter? Oh, I guess
because
you
can't all the stuff outside that they want to do.
Traveling was a pain.
I remember that when Dallas hosted, it was snowing hard. Lots of snow that week.
Yeah, it's not just about the actual field conditions. If the Super Bowl experience and all the
parties, it's a whole week.
If all of them are confined inside hotels because the weather's too bad, then they're not going to want to go back because they make a lot more money on all the outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking?
I am going to bed. Good night, everybody. I will see you all next week.
Good night, P tier.
Good night.
Good night.
No, Thor Ragnarok is just a really good movie. It's just It let Hulk be Hulk, which is always a good time. Yeah. And how good was that moment where when Banner jumps out of the plane, he's like, "I'll take care of this." He doesn't change into the Hulk. He hits the ground. Oh man, I must have laughed. I rarely laugh a lot of movie theaters, but I was dying. That was so good. But anyway. There you go.
There you go.
How come you didn't come to Gamma?
Because we only sent one guy.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
it didn't answer the question.
Because I wasn't invited.
Honestly, man, I don't know if I would have gone. I mean, I heard it was good. I heard it was actually really good as far as the change to Reno was.
Business was good.
Was
the biggest thing that the food was awful. The food in the hotel was just the worst, and real expensive.
Even worse than the one at your guys. Even worse than BGGCon.
Yeah, my opinion. I could eat BGGCon food.
I don't know, man. Their
keep
pizza
it down.
Let's so
just say that it is the worst pizza ever made. I don't understand that.
I don't. I mean, and they always.
How do you screw up pizza?
Well, here's the deal. So BGGCon, I love it, and I'll always go, right? But I mean, that hotel. I mean, it's just their food is not for the amount of money you shell out for it. It is not good. I mean, it's not. I mean,
I won't disagree.
It's just
it's edible. I've eaten it, but I don't want.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's and the buffet
food
things
at Reno literally made me sick. One of the nights was I was up in the middle of the night.
For BGGCon, man, I either order in or I leave.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good restaurants around. Now, I didn't go to too many restaurants around outside, but we did go to one, which was supposedly the best Mediterranean food ever, and I heartily disagree with that.
What's Mediterranean food anyway?
Hummus, gyro,
Hummus.
lamb,
Hummus.
shish kebabs. He was purporting to have the best lamb in the world. I'm like, oh, it's from Colorado? No, it's from Australia. Like, what?
Australian lamb is the best.
Why would you
lamb.
order?
Yeah.
Why would you import Australian lamb when you have
'Cause it's
Colorado
better.
lamb?
Yeah.
It is better.
Yeah, it wasn't better here,
No.
but maybe it's better.
Well, when it's 5 years old, it's not.
So wait,
Yeah, when it's
Lance, you're
Yeah.
not going to Dice TerraCon now, right? You said.
No, I'm not gonna go.
All right, so I'm not going to go.
Oh, well,
was
solidarity.
it all hinging on you? On you
Yeah.
going? Really?
Yeah.
Why not go?
Well, I'll go to Origins then.
Come to
Sweet.
BGGCon.
Origins will be awesome.
I hear Lance got a spare bed.
Ha. Also, I mean, and I don't want to air dirty laundry, but I also have some personal reasons why I won't go to DTCon too. I mean, just because of some things that have happened as far as the structuring of it and things like that. And if anybody wants to talk to me off air about that, I'll be more than happy to talk about it off air.
Oh my gosh, now
All
we have to
right.
have an off-air discussion.
Yeah.
Well, Gamma was pretty great. Like, we were in a room, our own room to film, which was nice because it was very quiet. Problem with that being, you couldn't talk while anything was filming because the mics would pick, like, you could hear my entire conversation in some situations. And then we're also off the show floor, so we didn't get any people coming by to talk to us. It was just whoever was on the schedule. So it felt a little isolated, but I'm not going to complain.
So when you had like a regular hotel room you filmed in?
Yeah, we had like a half suite where they took the bed out.
Yeah.
And we just set up in there. It was cool. The audio is the best, though, of course, because it's almost like a studio environment, right? But yeah, it's cool. There was a lot of good games too. Really
What
cool
was
stuff.
what was weird this year in coverage? Because I could have sworn they had said that. I think you had even mentioned that they were not letting people film on the floor, but there were people filming all over the floor.
Yeah, and we filmed on the floor, and I after we did it, I'm like, oh shit, were we not supposed to do that? Like, I forgot about the rule.
But yeah,
But
that
I
was
had
the thing,
seen
right?
all these pictures. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, there was actually a couple things we walked by that if they gotten out, like, I'm really glad our camera didn't pick it up. Or maybe it did and nobody saw it. But I totally forgot about that rule, so I apologize to the Gamma people. Ooh, screwed up the rules, wasn't following them.
There were people doing like whole interviews in booths on camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why they made that rule now because of what I saw in the room. But it's so weird. Like, you've got 500 retailers or whatever it was come out there, and you're showing them these games that have not been publicly announced yet, right? Expecting it to all not get leaked in some way. And I guess I haven't heard any of the leaks yet. So maybe it is expressed to all the attendees to not say anything outside of the room. But it's weird because there's some big games that we saw there were like, holy shit. That kind of stuff.
Like what?
I'll tell you later.
I didn't get to see them because
I can't say it here.
We're being watched by
tens of people. I cannot leak.
I wasn't invited to be part of the BGG crew, so
hey, I didn't invite anybody. John offered to come out and help me, so he offered. So I took him up on it. John gets games. It's great. Helped out the entire weekend and week. There was no weekend. We left on Friday.
So wasn't that good?
What's that?
So it wasn't that good of a con if you left on Friday, huh?
Well, it ends on Friday. I mean,
it
it's over. Yeah. In fact, the exhibition hall is only open for 2 days, and it's only open from noon to like 5 or 6. So it's 6 hours each day for exhibitors, right? Like publishers. However, there was very cool events after hours, like sponsored tables where the publisher would come put up all their games and you could just go play them. That was really cool.
You saw with the Atlas giveaway?
No, what was the Atlas giveaway?
So Atlas did a thing there where they had retailers come and they showed them the Cursed Court game.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner of the giveaway got free copies of Cursed Court to sell in their stores for a year.
Cool. That's a cool idea.
As many copies as they could sell, they would get them for free.
Maybe. Can they sell them cheaper? I guess it probably.
I don't know what the thing was, but that was what their giveaway was.
So there was AEG was doing a cool thing where you would if you demoed all their games, I think you had like 4 or 5, you would get a free copy of Space Base to take, which looks like a really cool like successor to Machi Koro kind of thing. Looked fun. I went through that demo, but I didn't have time to do all the other ones, so I didn't finish all the demos. I heard the cat lady person demoed it like 200 times over the week because it's such a quick game to demo, and like kept doing it over and over and over. Yep. Shards of Infinity is very cool. That's the new Justin Gary Stoneblade Entertainment game, which is like Ascension, like super slim, super trimmed down. Like it's very straightforward. I played that, and it was really fun. Played it with John and one other guy. I like Get the MacGuffin from Looney Labs. It's kind of a love letter sort of type game where you're trying to be the last person standing. What else did I see? There was so many like sci-fi Robotech type games, right? Like lots of robots fighting in space and spaceships and very
robots
Ameritrash
fighting in space.
Yeah. Was the chicken shit card game there?
Chicken shit card game?
Probably not. They wanted me to be part of my LinkedIn network.
Oh,
they actually
on a game like that. I mean, why not?
Here's the stupid thing. The LinkedIn CEO at Chicken Shit, and the name is Chicken Shit Card Game. Not the guy's name.
The name of the company is Chicken Shit?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's great.
But they have a LinkedIn profile that's the profile's name is Chicken Shit Card Game. That's professional.
Yeah. Well, you got to stand out in some way. Why not name yourself after like Chicken Shit? What else? The Infinity Wars Avengers Rising or what? Thanos Rising or whatever. That looks pretty fun, and it's got a great gigantic Thanos mini.
Well, the movie is gonna be 2 movies, right?
Yes,
thanks.
It's first part movie, yeah. But it looked like a fun.
What is that? Is it a board game or?
Yeah, it's a USAopoly game. It's an actual original. It's not a Monopoly clone. And it's got a Thanos figure and it's a dice roller and you powers but it's got great Infinity Stones. They're like 1 or 2 inch gems that look really cool. They look fun. Samurai Jack game looked fun. Those minis look good. I saw the Pickle Rick box or carrying case. I don't know what it is, but I did not see the game.
Pickle Rick.
What else did I play? I played some party games from Repos. There was a fun game called I can't remember the name of the fucking game. Just One More or Just One or something. Simply One. I don't remember. Where you each write down a clue on a little whiteboard, and then the person trying to guess the word from your words that you write. If you write a word that someone else on your team writes, you cross them out. So you have to think a little laterally with words. I mean, it's just a word guessing game. But lots of fun. We laughed a lot.
I'm sensing that's going to be a hot games room late night Gen Con.
Yeah, probably. If they have it ready, I hope they do. It just creates kind of funny situations because, let's say the clue is castle, right? And you're writing down, like, I wrote down moat, and someone else wrote down, like, walls, or something really kind of very, very basic. And those words cancel out, and then you get left over with the real weird words. And just the look on people's faces when you're like, I remember one, it was like detective was the word. And we had a couple things cancel out, and all you saw was like Dick and Holmes. Like, okay, it was just hilarious.
Porno.
So, yes.
John Holmes.
No, it was detective, but yeah. So you can see the kind of funny things that come out of that. What else was there? Castell looked pretty cool. Have any of you guys played that yet?
No.
With the big giant bag. No.
I heard it's the greatest game ever.
Did you?
Well, I mean, that's what everyone's talking about. It makes it sound like it's the greatest game ever, but
greatest game ever. It looks pretty good. I like the theme. What else do we got?
Fair enough. All right. Well, it's almost 12:30. I suppose we should wrap it up. Fun conversations. I'm excited because the Adepticon releases for GW leaked out, and the new I've been looking for an Order faction to buy into for Warhammer, and now the Sea Elves are out. It's a bunch of elves that are like riding turtles, giant sea turtles, and sharks and stuff like that.
They didn't announce those at Gamma?
Do they have pointy-toed shoes?
I don't know, but they look the Idoneth Deepkin, like wizards that have like big giant like octopuses and stuff hanging off.
So you paint them like blue or something? Are they blue skins?
The video that they revealed on the YouTube is they're very pale white skinned elves. So
like dark elves, but not dark elves. Water elves.
Yeah, and they look super awesome. So I am.
How many elves are in the Warhammer universe now? You got Wood Elf.
Well, are you talking
High Elf,
Sigmar, or are you talking?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, watch out. Jesus Christ!
What happened there?
You dropped your lamp.
I was trying to use lamp.
You're destroying a joint.
Oh, whoops! You're all done. That was weird. I was like, "Who are you talking to?" Because I thought it was actually I thought it was coming over my headphones. Okay, there we go. Fix that. There, came back. Yeah, okay, I'm good. There are well, there's the Woodland Elves, there's the Sylvaneth, there are the like the Dark Elves, the Dark Elf Corsairs, and now they're gonna have the Idoneth Deepkin. Oh, and they just released the Daughters of Cain, which are like these blood elves. So there's several different elves, but you can run a conglomeration of them as a fighting force. So I don't know. I wasn't a.
Chad Howard says the squats are coming back. I wanted a squat army so bad, and when I was playing 40K.
So when you guys paint, do you go by like what GW puts out with the colors, or do you go?
Oh, it depends on. I mean, there's some that work really well. I mean, it really depends. You can do whatever you want. I know that Green Field's an entirely pink Space Marine army. I think it looks awesome. And just like it definitely stands out.
Was it you that was telling me the Star Baby Driver was a winner of the what do they call that when you win the painting award, the golden?
I have no idea what you're talking about. So Games
Workshop, when you win they have painting awards and stuff.
Well, I know, but I mean, I don't know.
I thought it was you was telling me about. So the Star Baby Driver is like a Warhammer guy.
Huh.
That's cool. He won one award, which is like super hard to win because you have to be the best painter in the world.
Let's look it up. Baby Driver, stars, blah blah blah. And stars Ansel Elgort apparently is the lead. Acting, upcoming films, music. He also took to miniature painting as a hobby. Let's see here if it says Ansel Elgort. Ansel Elgort.
How do you spell that?
Miniature Painting Awards. There we go. Also, Elgort also likes painting Warhammer miniatures. H14. That's a. It's like that's maybe he won. No, he's congratulating somebody else. He's really good at it. Oh, if these are him, he is really good at it. These are amazing.
Yeah. He won that award, whatever that word.
Oh, the Golden Demon. If you win
Golden Demon,
the Golden Demon Warhammer Award, yeah. That's a big win. Yeah, so good for him. Isn't it great? He can be he can be a famous actor and all these other things, and also he can paint minis. So just once again showing me how much I suck.
We could have told you that. You didn't have to look up a blog.
Speaking of semi-famous people painting minis, has anyone watched that Geek and Sundry show?
No.
The painters. I don't know what it is. It's the guy.
The one with, Brian Merlongi is on it.
It's what you call it. It's hosted by the guy who played Eric on Boy Meets World.
See, I don't even know what Boy Meets World is.
You never saw Boy Meets World?
No, I don't. I never really watched TV, dude.
That was years ago.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, with Fred Savage's brother, Ben.
No.
So his brother on the show, it now has a show on Geek and Sundry where he paints miniatures with like people who are like professional miniature painters, and they like teach techniques and everything. It looked kind of interesting, but it's on that.
Or is it on their?
It's on Alpha. Yeah, that's the other thing you watch it. That's what I'm saying. Like I would watch it, but I'm not paying to freaking watch it.
Why don't they just get ads like everybody else and like make it free?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would watch it too. Painters Guild, is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that.
It's every Monday on Alpha. Hosted by Will Friedel. Yeah, there's Brian Merlongi. Brian Merlongi is in some of these pictures. So, all right. Are we done? Or are we gonna keep talking? I got questions if you guys want to keep going.
Oh, you give me one more, but I gotta go to bed soon. I'm tired.
What are you gonna play this weekend? You gonna play
Gaslands?
I don't know. I'm actually gonna play a lot of crazy crap because there's a local game convention that I'm gonna go to, and I'll probably just wander around and play games at random.
I'm gonna play City of Kings. Have you heard of that one? I just got the Kickstarter box. It looks pretty cool. Adventure, exploration, fantasy, fighting, and puzzle, which is intriguing. I don't know what the puzzle part is.
Ooh, puzzle.
Puzzle.
But I think sometimes BGG games get miscategorized. Like someone says, "Oh, there's a puzzle in this." Like maybe like one little tiny little thing is a puzzle, and it's like, "Oh, it's a puzzle game now." Or if a dice is in a game, it becomes a dice game.
People are stupid.
You playing anything, Barry?
Nah, the last game I played was Star Trek Ascendancy.
Which one is that? Is that the Mage Knight?
No, it's a Gale Force 9's game.
Oh yeah, with the warp tubes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I played it with the Borg expansion. And that was a couple weeks ago. Tomorrow, I'm hoping Jen. I don't think Jen's gonna go to work with the snow, but tomorrow I'm hoping to get a game with her. I was thinking maybe Arkham. We'll see.
Yeah, good one. I'm playing of release games and playing Gaslands, and then I have several prototypes in play.
Gaslands? Which one's that?
Osprey Games. It's just a rule book. You get it? It's a rule book and then you have this template. It's like X-wing movement type thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But very, very cool system.
Neat. You have to bring your own car.
Yeah, I've been making cars all week.
Okay. How's your business going?
It's good. I got prototypes sitting here that I got to play this weekend.
Cool. Anything promising? Do you read the rules first before you get the prototype, or do you like?
Yeah. So usually I tell them to send me like an elevator pitch email. If that sounds good, I ask for a rule book. And then depending where they are, I either ask them to send me a prototype or just send me a PDF. I have a guy from Argentina, who has a game that looks really, really good. So he's like, I can send you a copy. I'm like, dude, how much going to cost you to send me a copy from Argentina? I said, I can put it together. Just send me the files.
That's nice.
But
so these are the 100 less than 2 hour Euros, or Euros over 90 minutes. What was your criteria?
I wanted ones that played in 60 to 120 minutes.
Right.
But I will take longer ones.
Is that still working?
Yeah. Well, when people actually follow the instructions, yes.
Okay.
I do get lots of. It plays in 30 minutes now, but it could probably be stretched out.
Well, any game can be stretched out.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to figure out how to stretch out a game. Like, if the game plays in 45 minutes and it's really interesting, then maybe
don't make it longer.
Maybe I could figure out how to make it longer and still interesting, but I can't double the length of time on it. Adding like 3 more rounds of the game doing the same thing does not make it better.
Yeah. I think there was a game, I can't remember what I was playing, but it was something like, this game would be awesome if it was 3 rounds shorter. I'm drawing a blank on what it was, though, but there's so many games that just go on too long.
I've played those, and I've played all the games where I wish it was 1 round longer.
Yeah. It's a hard balance, right?
Like I wish Roll for the Galaxy was 1 round longer.
One more victory point.
Just 1 round longer. That's it.
Yeah. Roll for the Galaxy or race?
The Roll.
Roll, yeah.
I wish you triggered the end of the game and then everyone got 1 more round.
Yeah, because once your engine is going, you really want to see it run.
Well, because it's one of those things where it's like, if you trigger it, and I was just about to trigger it, I don't have a shot because you went before me. I went before you, so we're done.
Right. There's a Reiner game called Rhinelander. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
It always felt like, oh, it's over. Like what happened? Just when it started getting interesting.
Well, I mean, there's some games that do that just because it's just you just kind of you get your victory point engine's rolling at that point, and all you're doing is just grinding more points. Race for the Galaxy very much is like that.
Yeah.
I have never played that.
Oh, you should play it.
You should.
I have. Actually, Roll for the Galaxy. Just never
supposed to be pretty good.
But Race for the Galaxy is a really good game. But like, God, I mean, whenever I think, God, I should play that again, I don't want to have to relearn all the iconography again because it's been so long since I played it.
It comes back though.
I'm sure it does, but I remember the first time I played it, I was like, I don't know what all the big deal is about this. Then, like the second time I played it, I was like, I had the iconography down, and it was just like, wow, this game's awesome. And then I played it. It was like the only game I played for like a month.
I think that's the reason I never did play it. I have it. I read the rules, but I think the iconography was the reason I never got it to the table.
It's worth it, Barry, if you get a chance. And maybe what's the shorter one? The light speed? Is that what it's called?
I don't remember.
It's good. So you guys didn't bust my chops about the Golden Geek Awards last week. You just talked about politics and stuff all for 4 hours.
Well, if you'd been on, we would have made fun of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all a bunch of fucking garbage, but whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I would be happy to see what the Dice Tower Awards come up with. Let me know what you vote for, Lance.
Wait. So with that being said,
game of the years.
Congratulations, Ludology, on the 2019 Best Podcast.
Ludology?
Well, whoever comes in second wins the next year. So
yeah, I mean, it's purely just take your subscriber count, and that's the order of which you will win the award. Right? I mean, it's mobilizing your subscribers to vote for you. That's really all it is.
Well, that's what it is. And
what else can you do? I mean, what else can you do?
Anthony was like, and here comes the kiss ups.
I begrudgingly added that podcast award, which I knew what it was going to be. Like, I mean, I can tell you, it's played out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is there so I mean, so who won it last year?
Secret Cabal.
And they're going to win it again, right? I mean, it's just like
next
it's
year.
Win once and you're done.
Yeah, it's one and done.
Well, once you win, you're done.
You can't win more than once. Well, if you would like me to change that rule, you can know who was going to win every year.
Yeah, I suppose.
You guys want that? I mean,
Scythe will just win every year then, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Scythe, perfect game. Come on, 115 minutes and you're done. Anyway. Now here's a question: do you think is Gloomhaven a solo game?
You can play it solo.
You can play it solo. Right?
It's the same. It's the same thing. Like is it a dice game because it has dice in it?
Yeah.
But now here's the thing.
If a game does not have solo,
I look forward to you giving Gloomhaven 27 awards.
Yeah, I mean, it won already.
Hold on. Here's the thing with the awards. Okay, I'm not going to go with the Gloomhaven stuff. All right, so I listen to the RPG podcast that Jamie does.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I wonder how many votes they got of people who listened to it for the RPG, or how many people just saw Secret Cabal and voted for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, did they broadcast it on the Secret Cabal to vote for them on the RPG?
Oh, it's on their regular feed. So you still download it. You don't have to, right. It's on their regular. It's not a separate feed.
Oh.
Right, Barry. It's on the same feed, isn't it?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like the Secret Cabal comes out on the second and fourth week, and then the whatever the show, I can't remember what it's called, comes out on the first and third week.
Right.
But like you could download something and you subscribe to the channel and just not listen to it. But I just wonder, I like it. I enjoy the podcast. I think I actually listen to that more than the actual regular Secret Cabal episodes. But it's one of those things. Like, did people just say, "Oh, Secret Cabal, I'm going to vote for them," kind of thing?
Could be.
Like
probably.
the same way. Like
so,
you could just say, "Oh, Gloomhaven's the best game. It's number one. I'm going to vote for that," and you put it in any category. Like I said, if for some reason it had gotten enough nominations to be in the party game category, it would have won that.
It would have won. Yeah. So here's the weird thing about RPG Geek and Video Game Geek. Like, the user base is minuscule compared to Board Game Geek. Like, it's a fraction of a fingernail.
7
compared
people.
to BGG. I'm not even joking, but yeah, some of those things get like 7 nominations.
Huh.
Like, can't make people do it. They only would do it if they care. I'm not saying that the award is not.
Well, my favorite.
Once the voting comes up, more people vote.
My
but
favorite part of the whole
period is pretty light.
Right, my favorite part of the whole Golden Geek thing is all of the begging.
The begging.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty upset that the Alaboom once again got snubbed. No,
is there a podcast?
Well, yeah, this is a podcast.
Okay. How many subscribers?
Who cares? This doesn't matter.
Under 5,000.
Are we valued only by our subscribers?
Here's the deal: the podcast category. Yes, it's about
you don't
bodies.
think why couldn't you
to push a button?
Why aren't you campaigning for us? You're one of the co-hosts of the show.
Am I?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It should be grandfathered in. The Alaboom should just be grandfathered in every year.
I didn't even know there was a podcast.
And then
I didn't know we were still doing it. I didn't know we were still doing it.
When we do win,
podcast listeners,
Then when we do win, we stop doing the show and we call it something else, so we can run
Yeah, you're
again.
done.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
We should start thinking that exit
You can
strategy.
change it to
now.
the Cabal's secret, and then they will
No, we're not going to be
be
that dumb.
eligible.
The Tower of Dice.
I've often
The Tower of
considered-
Dice.
I've often considered like changing the name of this, but now I mean because nobody even knows what Alaboom even stands for anymore.
I've often
I
considered
don't know what it
becoming a
means.
golf club.
I think it's before my time.
Like it's like a loose affiliation of board something like media something. It was a loose affiliation of board.
Alaboom.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget what it was.
Board of something.
Yeah, I mean it was like
Open
I
mouth.
don't know, it was something with like the and it was like a randomly created name. And then it kind of just became a thing. Because it was a secret Facebook group first. Before
secrets.
Keep it secret.
Is that Facebook group still around?
No. There was because it had.
It went down quick.
I think I remember this story.
Well, no, I don't want to air too much.
I don't know if it's
laundry.
public though.
I don't want to air too much dirty laundry, but basically what it was is that
It imploded.
Well, yeah, because there was like 10 people in it,
Yeah.
and then it was like, and then we kind of gave free reign because like then
Ate
there
itself.
people like said, "Oh, is it okay if I invite this person in? They're really cool." And then we all kind of said, "Yeah, that's fine." And then it became like 12 people, and then it became like 15 people, and then it became like 20 people, and then it was like then people were just starting getting invited in without like checking on anything, and then finally like. It was enough people where then personalities finally conflicted, and there was like
it became too loose an affiliation.
oh yeah, and, it's like, and so then there was like 2 or 3 people that really had it out against each other, like very, very like in Facebook dropping F-bombs and you know what, fuck you and fuck your mother, pardon my language, yeah, I mean, like just that, and then and then it was like, and so then like people that like were the people that originated it, like were like, I'm out, and they were gone, like they kind of left the group, and then like something big and huge happened, and then the person who had created the Facebook group just boom blew it up and just took it down, right. And then we restarted it up again, like kind of like. With just like the 6 or 8 of us, and said, "And no more," and then we were done. So,
and even that group went away.
Yeah, and that group went away too. Yeah.
Well, that group is still there. You don't talk there anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's posted that in ages. I think I even left it. I mean, honestly,
I'll go check right now.
But I cleaned up my Facebook group.
Like high school, kind of it sounds. You know what I mean?
Well, it was just one of those dumb things,
Well, imagine what high schoolers do with Facebook groups these days, man. I just shudder.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh my god, I would just hate it as a high schooler with a fucking knowing there's a secret group you're not part of.
Oh, wow. I've
kill me.
I've told my daughter. I've said repeatedly. I was like, just please.
You gonna let her be on Facebook?
Well, I've just said, it's like.
Oh, Lance, you're still in there.
Oh, what? I don't really?
Did you just post?
See if you can kick me out.
The last post was August 20th, 2017.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I thought it would be longer than that.
And the one before that was May 24th, 2017.
I mean, it's just
archive it, baby.
I thought I went through all my groups and like and removed myself from like the vast majority of them. But yeah,
God, I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm just thinking about high school and like the effects that will have on people forever. Because it's so like easy to do, right? Back in the day, you just like whispered. You would go over to the side of the room and whisper, like that's your group. And now it's like people can take screenshots of shit and like.
Yeah.
It must be awful.
Jen and I were talking a little bit about that the other day. Like I seen this transgender person on TV that I swore was a woman. At one time it was a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Jen, and it's like, dating kids. Do they transgender people? Do they just come out and say I'm transgender, or do they not? It's kind of like dating nowadays would be very confusing. I think.
You think what, like social media and with all that, like relationship status stuff?
Yeah, not only that, but like if you're a dude and you see this woman, and it was transgender, it was male at one time. How do they handle that? Like,
yeah, I mean, because I knew no transgender or gay or queer people in high school when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
Zero.
I knew gay people, but
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by the social media part. But
here's the thing. I think I've said it here once before. Like, there's people I went to high school with who weren't out then, but I knew they were.
Yeah.
I went to a Catholic high school too, so you really couldn't be out.
Yeah.
But like,
sure.
I wasn't surprised at finding out about anybody that I knew growing up to find out that they were, gay, lesbian, whatever. I'm more surprised when someone I think isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, my own cousin, I could have sworn was a lesbian. And then I got an invitation to her wedding, and it wasn't to a woman.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Are you guys keeping your Facebook accounts? Are you going to delete?
They already have the information.
Sure, but I don't know. I'm tempted, but
are you going to post while you're leaving first, like everybody else has been doing?
Say what? Say again.
Are you going to like your final post? This is my last post on Facebook.
This will be my final post of a steak dinner.
Good Lord, I'm in a lot of groups that I didn't even know I was a part of.
No, you don't. The thing that's funny about Facebook is, I don't know how long you've been on Facebook, Scott, but remember back in the day when it was really like, you used to say like your name and then like Scott is, and then you had to fit it in.
Yeah, you had to be like, I am thinking about
Scott is eating breakfast, and you sit there and go, oh my God, I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
And then now you go to Facebook.
When they remove that, now I care less.
But you go to Facebook now and you see all the people like this reposting the same stupid memes and everything. And you're like, man, I wish you would just tell me what you're eating for breakfast.
Exactly. I wish it would go back to that simpler time instead of shares. I mean, I get shares are like fun and addictive and like exciting and stuff, but like I am guilty of it. I mean, half my shit is share. But man, it takes up so much of my brain power and time, and like I can only think of what I could do with that time if I didn't spend 2 hours on Facebook every day.
You unplug, Scott. It'll do a world of good.
The thing that's funny is, I'm going to say the last thing I actually posted on my Facebook.
Problem is, we got 100, almost 100. Well, no, not 100,000, but like a 75,000 user group on Board Game Geek group. It's fucking crazy.
I don't actually post my own wall anymore.
What's that? So I say one more time.
Me or Barry?
No, you, Anthony.
Oh, I said I don't think I don't post anything on my own Facebook wall anymore. Like,
do you think people just don't want to see it, or you don't?
No, I have nothing really to say.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have so much to say.
But I like go. I'm in different groups, and I'll talk on that. Like, I'll talk on the groups.
You don't want to be publicly exposed to the greater Facebook.
Like, I don't even sit there and go, "Oh, I had a chili dog today." Oh, what's wrong with retweeting all my favorite thing now is all the people who.
I would like to hear about your company more. I mean, that kind of stuff is. Well, I don't know if Facebook is the best place to put it.
Well, I posted yesterday on Twitter that my giving publishers self-serving advice is my jam. I just watch people do it all day long on Facebook. Like, someone will ask a very simple question, and people are like, "Oh, I don't like that, so you shouldn't do it." I'm like, "Okay, that's good advice. I don't like it, so you shouldn't do it."
Yeah, like I give a fuck. Yeah, the social media stuff, man. I mean, it's part of the business now, but I'm like, I really, I'm really starting to hate it.
I told someone off today.
I really hate it. I mean, I like being enabled. Like that was BGD was started for, right?
Yeah.
To be able to talk about board games, like in a place where other people want to talk about board games. But then it gets to a point where, like, you really don't want to hear what everybody has to say, right? Because
but I think
you get some really loathsome people out there.
I think the problem with the social media thing is people just want to be. They don't want to talk. They just want to be seen,
be heard.
Yeah.
Like this is why you get all these great, not posts like, "Oh, just play this game. It's great." You get the, "You're in a closet. What board game would you want to be playing?" Like, who freaking cares?
And it'll have like 500 responses. So someone obviously does. Yeah, some of the like most inane posts get the most responses, and it boggles my mind. There's definitely a user of type out there that I don't understand. You know, as far as like the amount of time they want to spend on this,
and they do it on multiple groups,
channels. Yeah.
Really?
No. Anyway, contemplating deleting Facebook, but I probably won't do it because repercussions too much.
I told someone off today because they have in their profile that they're a politics junkie. And I said, just retweeting what other people who are idiots say does not make you a junkie. Makes you a magpie.
A magpie.
There's a word you don't hear much anymore.
Let's let Lance go to sleep.
Lance is a politics junkie.
I get annoyed by dumbness a lot, you know. And I absolutely hate the media. And the media shows me each and every single day a reason why it is just absolutely detestable. And I absolutely hate the power that media has over people and the shit that gets filtered down to people. Not to go off on a rant, but I mean the fact that basically because it didn't escalate to something awful. The school shooting in Maryland, because a trained police officer was able to end the threat immediately, and it doesn't fit the agenda of what news wants to be heard, right? You know, so if the cop hadn't shot that poor misguided child that decided that the only way he could get back at his ex-girlfriend is bringing a gun to school and shooting her, just like whatever reason, and now he's dead because he did that, and it's just, and admittedly, hey, he brought a gun to school and he shot two people. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been shot by any means. What I'm saying is it's just a shitty situation, right? And now that cop has to live with the fact that he's done that. And I don't care. Yeah, he can probably tell himself all day long, I saved lives by doing this, but you still got to look at yourself. So I killed a kid, and so you try to find that story anywhere on CNN.com or MSNBC or anything, because it doesn't fit the narrative. But if that kid had killed 10, 12 people, it would be front line in the center, and it would be like the number one news story. It would be fighting the Austin bombing story for top news. But because it doesn't fit what we want to hear, right? Oh, good guy with a gun actually stopped it. We don't want to hear about that. So, that's not what, and it isn't even like, and I don't even really blame the news sources for doing what they do, because they're a business.
Yeah.
They put forth the news that people are going to click on and read, and people don't want to hear about that. People want to hear about tragedy. They don't want to hear about, oh, well, we stopped a shooter. They don't want to hear about that.
When I'm in Europe traveling around, it's like the most relaxed I ever feel in my life, because they don't blare that shit 24/7, right? Yeah. You can't find it. All you see in European TV is like soccer and maybe porn. Like, that's it. Like when I'm in the hotel room at night, like that's all you get. It's crazy. It's a different world for sure. Like we're just bombarded with it, man. I'm wondering if, man, I should just do an experiment where I just block myself out of it for like 30 days and just see what happens to my psyche.
Yeah, I mean, we were always like, I remember growing up and having the nuclear weapons raid where you hid under the desk and shit. There was always that fear monger, but now it's multiplied.
Do you remember the Bowling for Columbine documentary?
Yeah.
You guys ever watch? You know, it's only partially about the shooting, right? And then the other part is the media explosion of fear state, and that's times a million today.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Didn't want to end on a downer.
Well, Origins is coming.
On.
That'll be awesome. And
Origins, yes.
And my
first.
And the little girl that turned me into a great uncle turned 2 today. So that's awesome. So
a great uncle.
My niece.
Sister's
well,
daughter.
your niece turned you into a great uncle.
Yeah, my grandniece.
Your niece.
My niece turned me in. Yeah, so my Brinley is my little is my little niece. She turned 2 today, and she's got her whole life ahead of her, and that is amazing and beautiful and awesome. So, and she may very well have pulled my older brother back from the brink, because he's totally accepting the idea of being a grandpa, and he's turning his life around. So I'm pretty happy about it.
That's good for you.
Yeah,
my nephew and his family were at BGGCon Spring last year, and it was great. And they got married when she was 17 and he was 18. Like that's how young they were when they had their kid. Which the kid is now, like 6 or 5. Anyway, all right. So see you at BGG Spring.
One day I got to go to that and drag my daughter
before it turns into BGG Con and then it loses.
Well, will you
have
tepid pink lemonade there?
Of course, yeah. That's a given. I mean, come on, you know me, Lance.
If I had known for sure that you would have had
pink I will give you as many Cokes out of my $5 a day Coke budget.
Yeah. When is BGG Spring?
Memorial Day weekend.
See, that sucks because I want to spend it with my kids.
He wants to go to the lake.
Well, maybe you can.
Memorial Day weekend is go to the lake and grill and go fishing.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah, I was never really a big outdoors person, so it doesn't really. Like for the past, before I started BGG Spring, I used to go to KublaCon out in Bay Area, and I always thought that was a good weekend because it's a 3-day weekend, and if you take Friday off, you can make it a 4-day weekend. That's kind of how the con runs.
I gotcha.
And the Spiel des Jahres guys are coming again, so that's awesome. And I shouldn't say guys because there are women on the jury now too. So
good.
Maybe she will come. I don't know who specifically is coming, but I've met almost everybody, and they're all fabulous people, like very, very nice and personable, and they teach every game, and they do not get tired of teaching the games. Like at the end of like Sunday, when they've taught the games for 3 days straight, and they're losing their voice, I'm like, can you teach me Elysium? Sure, no problem. Boom, Elysium done. Played it.
Have you ever caught one playing it wrong?
Early on? Sure. Boom. Early on. Pardon?
Have you ever caught one of them teaching it wrong?
Not that I know of.
I think that would be funny. So. I mean, it happens. Everybody does it, but
El Dorado, I think, was taught slightly wrong, but it didn't really matter last year because we didn't have like the perfect rules. But that was not them. I think it was just like people were teaching people. It was like chaining, and one rule was missed. Not a big deal, but something.
All right, I'm going to bed.
You gotta tell us something first, but shut down.
Yeah, we're signing off, and then
I'll shut her down, and then
I'm not clicking the button right away.
Yeah, I'll go off the air. So everybody, thank you for listening and all that, and the other thing, and what have you. Have a good night. For those of you watching after the fact.
Bye, Kabuki Kid.
Don't forget to subscribe and like.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. I don't care if anybody subscribes or likes. Unsubscribe, actually. Do me a favor.
But yeah, subscribe, like, all that stuff.
We got two down things already during the broadcast.
Good.